All right, everybody. Oh, that's a little bit hot. A little bit hot. Hold on. Pardon me. Okay. 1, 2. There we go. That's better. Welcome into the High Noon Show today. It's Monday. It's the first day of the week. I'm Pugs Moran. We do this each and every day. You know what? These are not working. 1, 2, 1, 2. Give me a second here. I'll explain what's going on. It's the reason why I'm like a minute late today. Oh, I got to fix this. Yep, that's a problem. Freaking kid. Freaking had the kid this weekend, and I couldn't find my headphones because he was using my headphones. And because he's 12, that means the only place they couldn't be is where they were supposed to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's much better. Okay. Yeah, he apparently did something to my headphones. Hey, Byron, how are you? Had a great weekend. Oh, did you have a good weekend? I sure did. We beautiful weather here in North Texas. We got outside. We watched Formula One. I watched the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Maybe if we have time, I'll talk about that. We went to Amel's. Amel, we do the show here from the Comfort Nest Guest House, high above the 1%er compound in beautiful downtown Highland Park, Texas. The master of the compound is, of course, E, who used to join me on the show, but he's got to get to his artwork. You know, he's an artist, so he's got to do all that stuff, which is fine. We went to his boys' football game yesterday. It was a gorgeous day to go see a little 9, 10-year-olds play football there. The big day for the Dominator. I'm telling you, big day for E's son. Very, very proud. Oh, when you watch these kids, when you watch them start to develop the skills, they start first time you see them playing football, they're terrible. They're just like running around, bumping into things. Scored a touchdown yesterday, 3 passes, perfect snaps every time. Woo, big day for the Dominator. All of us who love that kid. Very proud. Very proud. But yeah, other than that, a really great weekend. Besides the fact that I couldn't find my headphones, so I do apologize. All right, we're going to get into a lot of things today. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of interesting things to talk about. I do have a phone meeting scheduled for later this afternoon, and the time on that is a little bit fluid, so I don't know that we'll be going much past the normal 2 o'clock, or we may not even make it to 2 o'clock. I mean, I can promise you a good 90 minutes of hot topics and hot takes today, but we'll play it by ear after the hour and a half mark. And it's crazy, too, because we got a lot to get to. Let's get into today's show. Oh, I should tell you what we do here. Monday through Friday, we do this show. We call it High Noon. It is all the things that are trending. If it's a headline, if it's a hot topic, if it's trending on one of the social media platforms, we're going to cover it here. We go through it one after another. Boom, 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 boom. Topic, hot take, topic, hot take, topic, hot take. The show is designed so that somebody who is casually listening can get a little bit of an idea of everything that anybody is talking about today in the world. These are not hard subjects. We don't delve into a lot of politics. We don't delve into politics at all. The whole purpose of this show is to just do a kind of talk radio that used to exist before AM right-wing, crazy, divisive political talk turned out to be the only thing that's allowed on the radio now. So this is sort of a throwback to what talk radio once was, which is a more inviting. Come on, we're just going to talk about stuff. We can find things to disagree with that don't have anything to do with what we or who we voted for or anything like that. So that's the whole purpose here. We do this show every Monday through Friday from noon till whenever, typically 2 o'clock or 2 o'clock plus. Then we double back and we do a second stream of the day. We call that the Pillow Talk stream. That comes on 9 p.m. Central Time. I'm joined by my friend James Parker. That's Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. All right, let's get into today. Let's cover everything. The first thing that we do here on the show is we like to cover everything that everybody's talking about. Actually, the first thing that we do is we like to tell you why today is such an important day. Let's see here. It is March the 28th, Monday, March the 28th. It is the 87th day of the year. There are 278 days remaining until the end of the year. So everybody say it with me. Get those New Year's plans started. What is today? Let's find out how we're supposed to be celebrating today. What are we supposed to be? What is today the day of? Because it's always something. It's always something. Let's see here. It's National Black Forest Cake Day. Thanks. I'm on a diet. I was pretty good on my diet this weekend too. I tend to go off my diet when the kid is here because the kid isn't on a diet, but he's not allowed to eat like a whole lot of junk food and stuff. But occasionally I'll slip up. I'll go over my allotted. See, I allow myself 1,000 calories a day. I gotta go over it with him because we eat meals together and they're like well balanced meals. And honestly, a 1,000 calorie a day diet plan is not a well balanced meal. So, but I did okay. Got my runs in. Still did all the stuff that I needed to do. It is National Black Forest Cake Day. I don't really know what the big deal with Black Forest cake is. It's cake. I love me some cake. And there you have it. It's National Something on a Stick Day. Something on a stick. Food on a stick. Do you like food on a stick? That's carny grub. Food on a stick to me. Although it is handy. I like shish kebab. Is that food on a stick? I guess so. Let's see what constitutes food on a stick here on National Something on a Stick Day. I like when they put a stick in a corn on the cob. That's good. Shish kebab is good because of what's on the shish kebab. But, I don't like hold this stick like I'm walking, past the line of the tilt-a-whirl eating meat and veggies off of. You take the shish kebab and then you knock all the meat off it. That's just how it's cooked on the stick. You don't eat it off the stick. Excuse me. Observed each year on March the 28th, National Something on a Stick Day is a food holiday that lets you use your creative talents. Yeah, okay. I don't care. Nobody cares. It's not that big of a deal. Something on a Stick Day. Hey, it's also National Black Forest Cake Day. National Black Forest Cake on a Stick. That probably wouldn't work. That's a silly idea. It's National Triglycerides Day. I know the word, right? It's not a dinosaur. It's something else. It sounds like a dinosaur though, doesn't it? National Triglycerides Day. National Triglycerides Day shines a spotlight on one of the key factors to a healthy lifestyle. The observance serves as a reminder to patients and practitioners to know about the hidden risks of triglycerides. Learn your numbers and I don't know what high levels of triglycerides in your blood can be a risk factor for heart disease. Triglycerides are different from cholesterol, though they are both a type of lipid or fat stored in your blood. They serve different purposes. All right, there you go. Whatever. Triglycerides, there you go. And it's National Weed Appreciation Day. Well, wait. Good weed or bad weed? Like bad weeds are the things that you wrench your back trying to pull up in the spring. Is this good weed or bad weed? Let's see here. Oh boy, it looks like it's bad weed. National Weed Appreciation Day on March 28th each year reminds us that some weeds are beneficial to us. Like cannabis. Humans have used weeds for food and herbs for much of recorded history. Some are edible and nutritious, while other weeds have medicinal value. Do you remember as a small child? Okay, National Weed Day. So there you go. Stopping down into the chat room. By the way, we invite all of you to jump into the chat room and mix it up. I know that a lot of you just listen and you don't play in the chat room. The chat rooms, it's kind of a click. It's kind of clicky, but it's always nice to see. I expect the loyalists of the chat room to be overly welcoming to new faces who show up. Okay, you're not helping the process of the show. The show runs on your donations, your tips, and you, the people who are here each and every day, being welcoming and being on board with the idea that we've got to grow this whole thing. So if anybody new ever shows up in the chat room, I need the Jeff Glens. I need the Byrons. I need the Als. I need Jens. I need all of them. I need everybody to kind of jump in and help out. Hey, welcome to the chat room, new guy. What's your name? Nah, don't be weird like that. But you know what I mean? Make people feel like they're welcome. Hold on. Speaking of that, I got to put this up because we are in the final. Hold on. Give me a second here. Well, that sucks. Oh, well, we'll do this one instead. There you go. I seem to have lost the one that has like the Cash App and all that stuff on it. Facebook, you can join Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, web, Venmo, Pugs Moran. There you go, Venmo. That's the easy one. Help the show out any way you can. And as I say, be welcoming to new people should they show up in the chat room. All right, let's get into all of the things that happened today. Not a very momentous day in the history of the world. We've got, let's see here. 1979 on this day. See, there's so much to talk about. I didn't want to get bogged down in all this silly stuff. On this day in 1979, a coolant leak at the 3 Mile Island Unit 2 nuclear reactor outside Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, leads to the core overheating and a partial meltdown. 3 Mile Island, that whole thing started today. Isn't that exciting? I believe, I want to say, I may not have this right. Do you remember the movie China Syndrome? Jane Fonda, I think Michael Douglas maybe. The China Syndrome was about a nuclear reactor in the United States melting down. I want to say like that movie came out like the week before 3 Mile Island or like the week after. I don't know. It's somehow that movie, The China Syndrome, was like just perfectly timed for something that was really going on and that everybody was talking about. 1979, little kid, thought the world was going to end. The world's going to end. 3 Mile Island, it's going to kill us all. 3 Mile Island was going to kill us all. Skylab was going to kill us all. AIDS was going to kill us all. Cold War, just, waking up in the morning during the Cold War as a kid. Our next breath could be our last. That's just how we lived. That's why there is such a huge market for antidepressants and anxiety medications today, because of the way we were raised. Births, people born on this day, 1944. Now, I only mention this. I don't mention people who have also died because this guy died in 2016, but I seem to remember us. Didn't we just talk about his death a couple of days ago? Ken Howard, the White Shadow. Remember we talked a little bit about the White Shadow, that television show from the late 70s, early 80s. Remember the concept of that show? A drunken, broken down former basketball player down on his luck takes a job and changes the lives of a bunch of poor minority kids. That's basically what it was. It took a drunk white man to come and fix the lives of the other kids at Carver High School. The White Shadow. They sang in the shower. An entire generation of boys thought it was just perfectly normal to sing in the shower, when in reality, it was weird. It was very weird. They used to sing in the shower on that show. Born on this day in 1948, someone who I just adore. Happy birthday, Diane Wiest. Yeah, Diane Wiest, the mom from Lost Boys, who I just discovered while watching Lost Boys a couple of weeks back with my son, my 12-year-old son. I hadn't seen it in like 30 years. And I think that when I first saw it, I was probably all focused on, how hot Star was, right? Star, she was like she was the girlfriend of Jason Patric and Kiefer Sutherland. She was like the vampire girl. What was that girl's name? I can't think of her name who played her. Anyway, Star is who I was, noticing back then. Now, as an old man, I'm watching Lost Boys and I'm like, damn. Diane Wiest, the mom, is really cute. Never noticed she was cute before. But now, at my advanced age, I'm starting to look past the 17-year-old girl and, more attracted to the seasoning of a Diane Wiest. Diane Wiest, I love her as an actress because Diane Wiest always seems like her acting style. Her acting style always projects that she is on the verge of tears. She's happy and she's trying to make the most of a terrible situation, but she always looks like she is about to cry. She could cry at any minute over something, but she's gonna smile through the tears. That's Diane Wiest. I like her, a lovely lady. Born on this day in 1948. Born on this day in 1955. Now, on this show how we love our Dolly Parton, right? We love our Dolly Parton on this show. Oh, God, national treasure. Like just one of the most wonderful, lovely human beings that God ever put on this earth. Well, at least in the modern times. I can't really speak to anyone that wasn't born before, 1969 or whatever. Happy birthday to the Kirkland version of Dolly Parton. Kirkland is, of course, the generic brand that the Target stores have. Maybe the Dollar Tree version of Dolly Parton. It's Reba McEntire's birthday. Reba, come on. We all love Reba. Same kind of thing as Dolly, just not quite Dolly. Reba McEntire, the Kirkland Dolly Parton. She's celebrating a birthday today. When we lose Dolly Parton, I think all of that love and all of that admiration and all of the kindness and all, I think that's all going to switch over to Reba. Reba currently has that in spades, boy. I'm telling you, she is beloved, and for a good reason. She seems just like a wonderful, kind-hearted, and decent woman. But yeah, she is like right now, right behind Dolly Parton for that. She's going to inherit the mantle once, God forbid we ever lose Dolly Parton. Reba McEntire is right there on deck, swinging her bat. Born on this day in 1970, Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn was born on this day in 1970. Happy birthday to Vince Vaughn. I like Vince Vaughn, 52 years old today. I really liked Vince Vaughn like before what? What are we going to say? Before 2015, maybe. Vince Vaughn was like on this trajectory to be one of the great actors of his generation. And then he plateaued. And now, I don't know. When was the last time like a Vince Vaughn movie opened up and anybody liked? I don't know what the hell happened to Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn was he was on his way, man. Vince Vaughn was going to be like the big, and then just kind of went nowhere. I stood next to Vince Vaughn in a crowded bar, a dance club bar back in the day. He was with Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson was like there too, but Vince Vaughn, since it's his birthday, we're talking about Vince Vaughn. Owen Wilson is from Dallas. I think they were running around doing something together, and they were in this bar together. And here's what struck me about Vince Vaughn when I was standing next to him. Not talking to him. I didn't meet him or anything, but we were both standing in the same area and I was right next to him. Vince Vaughn is much bigger than most other Hollywood celebrities. The size difference between Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson was notable. It was like, Vince Vaughn is kind of a big dude. And I know it was a crowded bar. It was late at night. Everybody was drinking. It was kind of a hot, sweaty dance club kind of a thing. And I think that maybe Vince had been dancing. A little bit of body odor. And I wasn't the only one in my group to notice that Vince Vaughn had a little bit of body odor going. But I'm sure it was just because of the circumstances. I imagine he's got impeccable hygiene, and this was just a one-off. But, hey, that's got to suck about being a celebrity, right? No matter what you do, everybody you meet, you're only going to meet once. Like, you're going to run into people at the grocery store once, and if you've got a thing on your tooth, that's you to that person that you met forever. Vince Vaughn, to me, body odor. He like I said, he may have impeccable hygiene. But to me, Vince Vaughn has body odor because I stood next to him in a crowded, sweaty, late-night, beer-soaked club, and I went, that's Vince Vaughn, right? Jesus. Ugh. And he was also wearing a flannel shirt, so I imagine there was some excessive sweating going on. But other than that, Vince Vaughn, hey, Chicago guy, I like Vince Vaughn. He's one of my hometown guys, so I'll get past it. And I like him, and I hope that he has a career comeback. I don't know if he needs a comeback, but I hope that he once again gets back on that path where we all thought Vince Vaughn's going to be a movie star. Well, he is a movie star. You know what I'm saying. Happy birthday to somebody else. Got a bit of a crush on. Born on this day in 1981, Julia Stiles. I love me some Julia Stiles. Excuse me. Julia Stiles just has a sweetness about her. Couldn't name a damn thing she's ever done. I have no idea. She's not memorable in any other way other than every time I see her, I go, oh, she looks so sweet. Julia Stiles, celebrating a birthday today. What was she in? Quick, name a Julia Stiles vehicle. Moving on. Also celebrating a birthday today, born on this day in 1986, Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germinati. That's right. Happy birthday, Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germinati. It's her birthday today. Of course, she was first. She first came to be as AJ Soprano's friend in The Sopranos. Yeah. Remember when AJ and his buddies broke into the school and they had a pizza party by the pool and they trashed the pool and they threw all the trophies from the trophy case into the swimming pool, and then the cops got called and Anthony got in trouble. I believe that was when he shaved his eyebrows off. Something crazy happened and he ended up getting threatened with military school. Yeah, one of his friends was Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germinati, who's celebrating a birthday today, 1986. So there you go. Happy birthday to her. Oh, she's also known as Lady Gaga. That's right. See what I was doing there? You thought, those of you in the know, you were probably going, that's Lady Gaga. Why is he calling her Lady Gaga? Because she's Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germani. I don't know when Lady Gaga was born, but on this day in 1986, a baby who was named Stephanie Joanne Angelina Germinati was born. Lady Gaga, for those of you in the know. How about a couple of deaths? How about just one death? Well, one big death. I don't know. Just one interesting death. Died on this day in 1969, Dwight D Eisenhower, American general and politician, the 34th president of the United States of America. Eisenhower, one of the great presidents. Any list of the greatest presidents in American history, he's a top 10er easily. He's always in the top 10. Some people have him in the top 5. I've actually seen arguments that Dwight was actually the best president we ever had because of the importance of the era that he came in and the way that he was a Republican, but he was incredibly bipartisan. Like vast industrial complex. I mean, he's the guy that basically called out the billionaires in the military industrial complex and all that kind of stuff. He's out there talking like a hippie liberal. And he's, Dwight David Eisenhower died on this day in 1969. All right. JBM is in the chat room. Hi, JBM. JBM says, I went to the Tonight Show with Jay Leno taping, and Julia was first guest. She was very sweet, but only thing I could remember was 10 Things I Hate About You. I get her confused with Kristen Dunst. Is it Kristen Dunst or is it Kirsten Dunst? I don't know. I don't get Julia Stiles and the Dunst girl confused, but I do get Kristen Dunst confused. I don't know which one it is. I don't even care. You want to know who I don't get them confused with each other because they're very different people in my brain, like when I think of them. But you know who Julia Stiles looks like? Julia Stiles, to me anyway, looks just like Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey and Julia Stiles. They're like, let me see. Let me see. I can't be the only person who has thought this. So let me see. Let me see if there's a side by side. Oh, spelt the name wrong. Stiles, Ronda. Yep, there you go. Somebody else obviously thinks the same because side by sides. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, they look the same. Julia Stiles and Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey just looks like a very angry Julia Stiles. Hold on a second. I got to plug in the computer. There we go. All right, look at this. I feel vindicated. I feel like I'd always thought this, but I wondered if I was the only person who thought this. Boom. Look at that. Julia Stiles and Ronda Rousey. I'm telling you, they look like the same person. Julia Stiles could absolutely play Ronda Rousey in a film. Look at that. Which is which? Okay, that's Ronda on the left and Julia on the right. Yeah, that's legit. Okay. See, I always wondered if maybe I was crazy for thinking that they looked like twins, but they really do. They really do. Is this them together? Are they actually standing together? Yeah. Is that Ronda Rousey or Julia? Okay, that's Ronda Rousey. Yeah, look at them with their mean faces. Oh, their mean faces. They do. They look the same with their mean faces. Okay. All right. I've proven my point. We don't need to get bogged down on that. Ah, isn't that nice? Okay. Byron says, what's up? Byron, fair enough. That show was set in Houston, and it would be hard to find a family that country in the armpit that is Houston. What show? Oh, is this an argument? Is Jefferson Glenn Wright the fourth and Byron already fighting? It's just Monday, folks. Can we just? Oh, what are they talking about? Are they talking about Happy Man. Trying to figure out. Jamie Gertz, thank you, Leslie. Leslie's back. Leslie. Oh, man. Jeff Glenn says, I always loved Reba's music and thought she was beautiful, but that show of hers changed how I looked at her. I don't know anything about Reba McEntire's music. I don't know anything about that show she was on. I know she had a show, Reba, but I never watched that either. I just know the public persona of Reba McEntire, and that's wonderful. Byron says, Reba gets a little too conservative for you, Jeff. And Jeff says, no, it wasn't political. It was the over-animated Southern character. Oh, okay, so they're arguing about the Reba show. All right, very good. All right. So let's see. What are we going to talk about here? Let's get into the trending topics. Let's go into the hot topics. So obviously the Oscars happened. Boy, did I pick a bad year to not watch the Oscars, huh? I have watched every single Oscar. I talked on Friday about how I wanted to have a pizza party with me and my kid, and we would watch the Oscars, but then I sort of rationalized that there's no way that will go according to the way I'm fantasizing it in my mind, because my kid at 12 years old, a modern child, has zero interest in award shows. He hasn't seen, he was really rooting for Coda. Like, my kid has he doesn't know. I think here's what I did learn last night, though, while discussing the possibility that we would watch the Oscars. He wasn't as totally against it as I thought he would be. I thought he'd be like, come on, Dad. He was like, he goes, we can watch a little of it. He was willing to compromise, which is just such amazing growth for a 12-year-old only child. The fact that but here's what we did instead. My boy and I watched a couple of episodes of not VH1s. VH1s? Is that even still a thing? Netflix's Drive to Survive, the Formula One show. So while the whole world was buzzing about the Oscars, me and my kid were laying in our big giant bed eating rotisserie chicken. Yeah, we ate in our bed. It was a Sunday night thing. We were laying in our big bed eating rotisserie chicken and watching a Formula One show from 4 years ago, because he didn't watch it. Oh, and we started watching Drive to Survive a couple of weeks ago. So we watched episode 1 because he knows that I love Formula One. And he said, Dad, I heard there's a show. And I go, is there? And I go, let's watch it. So we watched episode 1 and he really liked it. And so I thought that over the last couple of weeks that he would have, at least burned through season 1 without me. And he comes back and we're having dinner and he goes, let's watch Drive to Survive. And I go, oh, okay, where are you? How far into it are you? And he goes, we just watched episode 1. I go, I thought you were going to watch them at home. And he goes, Dad, I like watching it with you. Oh my God. Oh, I was like, all right, let's watch season 1. Let's watch the recap of the 2008 Formula One season together. It was just great. So I watched that. And then when the Oscars were over at 10:30, he was in bed and he was going to sleep because he had school. So I just pulled up the recording of the Oscars and I started to watch it. I watched it late, which is why I was kind of absent on Twitter during it. I was ignoring Twitter. I didn't want anything spoiled for me because my intention was to watch it and be able to fast forward through all the stuff that I did. So I got through the whole 3.5 hour broadcast in about an hour and a half, skipped through all the stuff I didn't care about. Didn't see one musical performance. I don't care. I'm like, nope. I watched celebrities that I liked. When I saw a celebrity I like walk out, I paused it. I watched none of the comedy, although I watched the Open. And Wanda Sykes is one of my favorite of all time. So I just love Wanda. And Amy Schumer is great too. I like her too. The other girl I wasn't familiar with, Regina Hall. I'm not familiar with her. I wasn't sure, but she was great too. So I thought the hosts were good. I watched the In Memoriam, which is always my favorite, where we all decide via applause who we're fine with being dead and who we really miss based on the level of applause. Oh, we really miss that guy. It's sad he died. And then somebody else comes up and we all stop clapping. We're like, yeah, fuck that guy. That guy, fuck that. It's like really barbaric, but it's something that I enjoy watching. Didn't watch the commercials. It's not exactly like the Super Bowl commercials, so fast forwarded through everything. Let's see that. I mean, other than that, really, nothing happened at the Oscars, right? Oh, come on. I'm being silly. Okay, so let's get into it. So, the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing, that's obviously dominating the trends today. Oscar stuff in general and variations of the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing, that has been occupying most of the trends, most of the social trends since it happened. And, I immediately, when I saw it, I don't know that, okay, so here's how I would put this. We'll go back and I'm going to pick through it and we'll watch it and all that stuff, right? But here's what I remember thinking after watching it all play out. And then after watching, Will Smith win for Best Actor after he walked up and slapped the snot out of Chris Rock. I thought of it like this. It's like, I don't know what your childhood was like, and I don't know that my childhood is necessarily like this, but it was like being at a family party with all of these people in your family that you love and that you admire. And, then at some point, a beloved uncle gets drunk and just smacks Aunt Betty across the face. Just some like horrible family incident that all the kids witnessed. And you're just like, what the hell just happened? Why did Uncle Donnie lose his shit all of a sudden? He just smacked Aunt Betty right across the face. What the hell? And then like Uncle Donnie would go away for like 20 minutes and the kids and everybody would be tittering about what just happened. And then, Uncle Donnie would come back for dinner and everybody would act like nothing happened. Like everything's fine. We're moving on. We're not going to dwell on Uncle Donnie losing his shit and slapping Aunt Betty right across the face because that's family stuff and it's Thanksgiving. And we really don't want to ruin dinner. And Uncle Donnie had a little too much to drink. And we're going to, it's how we all end up in therapy at 30 because we watch these incredible things from our childhood that the adults just decided, we're just going to get past it. That was kind of how I felt about the entire situation as a whole, because in general, there is nothing that anybody is going to remember from the Oscars of last night other than that situation. And that's, it's too bad, I don't know that I could tell you anything that happened in the Oscars 4 years ago, other than, they accidentally said, what was the, remember when Moonlight was supposed to win? They made the mistake and they said that Gaga, whatever, what was it? What was the movie that they announced was the winner? The singing musical, and it was actually Moonlight that won for Best Picture, and they announced it wrong. So there was that, and then I don't know. Maybe we wouldn't have remembered anything specific from this Oscar anyway. Although there were some things, and I made a list of things that, had the slap not occurred, would have been the things we were all talking about today. Because there were things that happened. There was one of the most cringy moments I've ever seen on live TV occurred very early in the broadcast, and nobody is talking about it because of the Will Smith and Chris Rock situation. So here, I'm going to go ahead and play that for you. Oh, geez Louise. I can't. I gotta hold on. Give me a second. Because I was late, did I mention that my kid hid my headphones on me? Well, this isn't good. Hold on. All right. Well, that ain't something that's gonna work. Hold on. You know what will work? This will work. Okay. Hey, you know what? I'll use the backup. I would like to thank Kevin Barber for sending me this. Kevin Barber sent me this last night, late at night. Here we go. I had it all worked up, but for some reason my Google is signed out. And I don't really want to screw around with that. All right, so here's the uncut version of the incident, we shall call it.
Still wearing enough layers.
It's extraordinary. Okay. And it comes from, this is fun because when we all watched it here in America, it was all cut. You know, it was they panicked. The censors panicked. The delay was hit. There was a freeze on the screen for a period of time. We didn't really get. We were all left to wonder what the hell were they were they yelling? Was that real? You know, moving on. Uncle Donnie just punched Aunt Betty in the face. We're just gonna move on. No explanation. But because of the time difference, that occurred in England when I guess they were all waking up or close to it or whatever the morning. There were live news shows on the air when this occurred in Hollywood last night. So I got this piece of video from an English early morning show, I guess it would be. And they pretty much showed the whole thing. So let's watch the way the rest of the world showed it to their people. And let's enjoy. Here we go.
This extraordinary vision from the Oscars that Sam Chiari mentioned earlier. There's been a major incident, it seems, at the Oscars between comedian Chris Rock and Oscars nominee Will Smith, both very famous actors in their own right. Early reports from the
this
theatre
is Australia.
That this exchange was not a joke. This was not some sort of planned thing. So let's show you how this unfolded, first of all.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the out of me.
Keep my wife's name out of your mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out of your mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
So it appears to have been Will Smith getting up and punching Chris Rock. You heard him say G.I. Jane 2, a seemingly reference to a buzz cut that Jada Pinkett Smith got. So a short haircut, if you like.
Short haircut, if you like. All right. So we'll back it up because maybe we'll break this down a little bit.
Keep my wife's name.
All right. Go back to that. All right, here he comes. No. We'll go back even further. Okay. I wanted to freeze frame it right here because I think this is a very important component of this whole thing. He tells the joke about, first of all, we can discuss what the joke was. Whether the joke was necessarily a shot at Jada Pinkett Smith, was it a shot at the lack of the idea that there could be a G.I. Jane 2 because it wasn't a big, it was not a great film, So what is the joke? And of course, then there are other moving parts here. You've got the fact that alopecia plays a role in this. Jada Pinkett Smith does not wear her hair or lack of hair in that way because she's making a fashion statement that I guess would be ripe for comedy. She has an affliction. She has a disease, a hair disease, alopecia, and she's been very public about it. I do not follow Jada Pinkett Smith, so I did not know that. I'm not a Jada Pinkett Smith fan by any stretch of the imagination. As a matter of fact, I don't like her at all. I don't say hate because I don't hate people. I don't like putting that kind of negative out there. But I have never liked Jada Pinkett Smith. There is just something about this woman that has always rubbed me the wrong way. She is so self-serious. She puts herself, to me, this is just me, and this is not, this is before last night. This is the way I have always sort of seen her. She seems to think she is so self-important. She is so self-righteous. She is so important. When, to me, the reality is, if she wasn't married to Will Smith, she's Jasmine Guy. You know, she's Cree Summer. She is not a person who, without the attachment to one of the biggest movie stars in Hollywood, is anybody that anyone is talking about in 2022. And I've always thought that she was a little bit too self-righteous, a little bit too self-serious, a little bit too, she can't take a joke. She's never been funny. If you look at some pictures of her, all the pictures of her, she looks basically like that. She looks like she is just being aggrieved in some way. You know, constantly the heroic victim. I am a woman who will stand up. I mean, she just got that whole vibe that has always bothered me. And I'm like, you are a rich, entitled wife of a Hollywood megastar. Okay. You are not some, I guess we don't need, this is just why I don't like her. She has always rubbed me the wrong way. And Will Smith, never really had a hot take on Will Smith. I don't love Will Smith. You know, people are always, well, Will Smith, you love him. He's so great. He's just such a nice guy. You know, I always thought Will Smith was a little bit of a showboat, a little bit of an act, a little bit of a phony. And, you know, I think we saw a side of Will Smith last night. Was it performative? I think it definitely was. I think that this proves the freeze frame that we are on right now. This proves that thing was performative, because in the moment, Will Smith laughed at that joke. Will Smith thought that joke was funny. Well, he may not have thought it was funny, but he was playing the responsible, reasonable game, which is, okay, we are major celebrities. I make $20 million a film. I live an amazing life. I've never had to have a wait in line for a dinner reservation since I'm 18 years old. I have all of these benefits of who I am. And because I'm a celebrity, and because one of the great comedians of our time is up on stage, I have to accept a certain degree of comic ribbing. And that's what it was. Now, Jada didn't think that. Jada is very upset because, as I said before, Jada's very self-serious. Jada is always the victim. Jada is always the one who will be strong in the face of the oppressor. That's just always been her vibe. And I love Chris Rock, you know, and I love, you know, who, I'm trying to think of, oh my God, the dog is going nuts. They're just not my favorite Hollywood couple. They've always bothered me. I got to let the dog in. I'm sorry. They're going to call the cops because the dog is in the backyard being an a-hole. Discuss amongst yourselves in the chat room. I'll be right back with more on this. Get in here right now. Get in here. This is where you live now. You know what? I'm glad that April shares my... It's not hatred. It's not a hatred. It's not a hatred for Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Or as I think we should start calling him now, Will Pinkett Smith. Because obviously, Jada is the boss in this family. Jada has him so completely controlled and under her thumb. I don't understand. I mean, that isn't to say that look, I've been in relationships where I've ceded the dominant role to a strong, powerful woman. I am very attracted to strong, powerful women. You would have a problem if your wife made more money than you. I would welcome if my wife had such a career or such success in her field of choice that she made more money. Why would that bother anybody? It's not a competition. You find someone, you fall in love with them. And that's not the situation here, obviously. But what I'm saying is, in this relationship between Will and Jada, it does appear to me that Jada is the boss. And this picture kind of, proves that to me. She, right now, is not happy. And Will is not looking at her. Will doesn't see her reaction. This is Will's reaction. Will has the, all right, I'm a celebrity. That's Chris Rock. That kind of an honor. Chris Rock made a joke. He glances over at her. I mean, we don't see this, but I assume it went down like this. He glances over at Jada, and then all of a sudden, Will has to do something. The reaction from Will Smith, and I can't believe the amount of people that I am seeing. Tiffany Haddish, who honestly I liked till about an hour and a half ago. I thought Tiffany Haddish was funny. I liked her. I used to say that like Tiffany Haddish and Ego Wodum are like two of the funniest women out there working right now. They just make me like, Ego Wodum from Saturday Night Live. I love her. I think she is so funny and so cool. Tiffany Haddish was one of these people, but then he should have done that. You can't talk about a man's wife like that. What kind of prehistoric... all right. So let me formulate my thoughts here, because there's a lot to go through with this. We're going to spend a lot of time on this particular conversation. There's a lot of other things we're going to talk about as well, but so one of my other thoughts on this was Will Smith reacted like somebody who was tired of the entirety of the general public knowing that he's a little cuck. And that's basically what she did. Jada did that to Will Smith with her Red Table internet show, her Facebook internet show, which is very successful. When I say internet show, I'm not saying that it's, something silly. Millions and millions of people watch that Jada Pinkett Smith conversation show, the Red Table, Round Red Table, something like that. I don't know. I don't watch it because I don't find her the least, I just can't take her. As I said, I cannot take her. But if we remember on that show about a year or so ago, there'd always been questions and rumors about their relationship, about whether it was an open relationship, and they were both seeing other people. And Jada Pinkett Smith admitted in front of Will on that show that she was sleeping with somebody else. And Will Smith famously cried. He was so heartbroken on that show. And the whole of the world went, oh my God, Will's a cuck. Will has been completely, he didn't really, however you want to interpret Will Smith's response and public response to that situation, the revelation that Jada Smith was sleeping with somebody else, it just didn't look, it wasn't manly. It wasn't masculine. It wasn't, he wasn't supposed to jump up, flip the table over, and start screaming at her, woman. Now, that's not what we're talking about. But whatever it was, there's a lot of people, myself included, who saw that and went, okay, so if it's an open relationship and everybody is cool with it, then that's wonderful. I have no issues with grown adults in their relationships deciding that they want to be able to explore sexuality outside of the confines of their marriage. That's absolutely fine with me. I have no issues with that, as long as everybody's on board. But it did not seem from Will Smith's tearful reaction that he was on board. He was basically humiliated on his wife's little internet show. I said it again. You did it again. I don't mean little internet show. Why did I say that? I think that's programming. So what I think Will's response here was, I think that there was one little trigger in his head that says, okay, this is a moment where I can show that I can be, a man too. I can jump. I can create this incredible assault on my wife, on her honor, on whatever. And I'm going to go up there and I'm going to do something that is going to prove to everyone that thinks I'm just a feckless cuck that I am an actual man. And of course, it was 5'5" Chris Rock. So, big man, big, strong. By the way, I'm wearing my Muhammad Ali shirt today. I don't know if you can see that. I'm wearing my Muhammad Ali, the greatest shirt today. Total coincidence. I mean, Will Smith, obviously, if you notice the way he threw that slap, he threw the slap the way you're supposed to. He didn't do that whole wind up thing where you come back and you like that. No. He obviously had some training throwing hands, and he came in tight, and it was quick, and it was close. It was boom. Now, what I also noticed is that he didn't get him with the meat of the hand. He hit him because I'd stopped it and slowed it down and all that kind of stuff. He got him with the fingers. So, he slapped him, and it was more of a slap and a drag, but it was quick. It was, it was just bam. It was like that. It was like the way that you're supposed to, not the big wind up where you give the person you're about to hit an opportunity to stop it. No, it was just boom, and it was quick. Will Smith was great as Ali. I love that movie, Ali. Anyway, so that was his opportunity to sort of be, look at me, I'm a big man. To little Chris Rock. Let me throw this up there. Take a walk with me on this one, okay? Let's just say that, because this would never happen because he's too controversial, but he is big enough. He is bigger than Chris Rock these days, so it's not insane that the Oscars wouldn't put him up there. What if Joe Rogan had said that? What if Joe Rogan had come out and made that G.I. Jane joke about Will Smith's wife's haircut? Would Will Smith have gotten up and tried to take a swing at Joe Rogan? I don't think so. Actually, I know he wouldn't. He wouldn't, because he'd have gotten his ass kicked and would have been wheeled out of there on a stretcher. He chose specifically somebody that he knew he was much bigger than, younger than. Chris Rock is 58 years old. Chris Rock is a tiny 58-year-old, non-scary little guy. And Will Smith got up on stage and decided that this was where he was going to be a big man. You don't pull that shit with Rogan. You wouldn't have pulled that shit with Damon Wayans. He wouldn't have pulled that shit with, I'm trying to think of anybody else. God, if he hadn't died, imagine Patrice O'Neal. You try and pull that shit with Patrice O'Neal. You know what would have happened to Will Smith? He'd been broken in half. So he saw an opportunity, and he took advantage of little Chris Rock. And not for nothing, but Chris Rock took it. Again, wasn't a meat slap. It was a finger slap. He got him on the fingers, but he went boom. So that was also a little bit like, oh, really? Oh, tough guy doing that to Chris Rock. Oh, you're such a tough guy. The other thing that I thought about this whole situation is that, oh my God, comedy really is dead, because this wasn't somebody getting up on stage and just dragging his wife for no reason. It was an attempt at humor by one of the great comedians of the last 50 years of American comedy. It was a joke. And celebrities, holy shit. Thank God Ricky Gervais wasn't the host. I mean, think about that. Ricky Gervais would have been even meaner. I don't really understand. These are all, none of these are excuses. These are all attempts on my part to figure out what led to Will Smith making this decision to get up on stage and do this. Don't get me wrong, too. Don't get this twisted at all. I'm glad he did. It was awesome. I mean, look at me. I could spend the next hour breaking this down. I wish I had a whole room full of people in front of me where we could all twist this out and talk about it and hash it. But my God, it was a joke at the Oscars. It was a joke at the Oscars, and it wasn't even particularly mean. It was in light of knowing that she has the alopecia, all of that. Maybe it was a bit in poor taste, but comedy is also often in poor taste. It doesn't give anybody. And what does this open the door for now? I'll tell you what's coming. I will tell you what's coming for Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. every stand-up comedian in America is going to drag them on stage for the next 5 years. There is absolutely no way that the comedians of the world don't get Chris Rock's back. You can't punch somebody for telling a joke. You can't get up on stage and do that. It's humor. You know what you do? You know what he should have done? You know what would have been completely understandable? I mean, still a little bit out of line, but it would have been totally... Remove the fact that he got up on stage and slapped him. Had Will Smith just sat there and said, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth in that very stern and very serious manner, that would have been okay. That would have been like, oh, look at that. All right. But the fact that Will Smith, who... I don't even know. I've heard people say this. You know, what about the children who are watching? First of all, no children are watching. No children give a shit about this old people stuff. This is old people stuff at this point. But on the off chance that there were some children watching, on the off chance that Will Smith does have some sway still with the younger generation, and I don't know that he does. Kevin Hart might. You know, I don't know that Will Smith does. How does this look for Will Smith? And I know that he felt that he was cloaked in some sort of honor guard. Like this is what an honorable man does. Maybe in the Middle Ages, maybe even, you know, back 100 years ago, you know, this is something, but this is the modern anti-violent era of Hollywood, right? There is absolutely no way that what he did could be justified. On the upside, Chris Rock is going out on tour. Chris Rock is going out on a 2022 stand-up comedy tour. It's his first comedy tour in a very long time. And he is going to sell out everywhere because of this. I assume that Chris Rock would have no problem selling tickets to his I'm coming back and doing comedy. But holy crap. And you also have to imagine that Chris Rock can easily get a fresh 40 minutes of new material out of this. People are going to line up to buy tickets for Chris Rock's new comedy special just so that they can watch or hear his reaction to it. To the best of my knowledge, Chris Rock hasn't spoken out about this. So let's talk about the joke for a minute, okay? Because what was the joke? The joke was, I love you, Jada. Well, here, we'll see if we can listen to the joke again. We'll try this one more time. Let's listen to the joke, and let's try and figure out if this truly was a shot at Jada.
I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Okay, so there you go. So Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, I can't wait to see it. So G.I. Jane was a 1997 movie starring Demi Moore, where it was the story, it's not a true story, but it's a depiction of the first woman to go through special forces training. Demi Moore played a woman who joined the military and decided she wanted to be like a ranger or a SEAL. I don't know. I don't remember. I saw it once, 30 years or whatever, however long ago it was. So that joke, G.I. Jane 2, I can't wait to see it. Is it a shot at Jada? It is definitely rooted in the short haircut, just like Demi Moore had a short haircut. But have you seen Demi Moore from that movie? It's not an insult. Demi Moore was smoking hot. Demi Moore looked really good in that movie with her shaved hair. Jada Pinkett Smith, I said, I don't like her, I can't stand her. Jada Pinkett Smith looks great. Pinkett Smith is a beautiful woman. This is not like you're awful, you're this is what a stupid choice. It is simply a joke that is reminiscent of the last beautiful Hollywood starlet who shaved her head. And she may not even be the last, but it's the one that we all know. So it's a joke about the shaved head, wearing a shaved head. It's not saying your shaved head looks stupid. It's not saying you look, it's not, it's just not. It's just saying you've got a shaved head. She had a shaved head. There you go. That's the correlation. Moving on, stupid joke. Also, and I'm thinking about this too. The joke really is that the premise that Hollywood would make a G.I. Jane 2 is absurd. It's absurd because it's a 30-year-old. That's the joke. The joke is that there would be a G.I. Jane 2. That's the absurdity of it. And okay, so it's a little bit of both. I'll give you that. But really, that's the punchline, that the absurdity of there being a G.I. Jane 2. The joke was truly at the expense of how terrible that movie was, not so much that Jada looks terrible or anything. That's not what he said. He even prefaced it with, I love you, Jada. The haircut. Okay. But also, G.I. Jane 2, Jada, as I say, she seems to always play the heroic victim. I will persevere. I will stand up and raise my voice. God love her. The world needs those people too. It's just a little much from her. It's just a little much and a little bit constant. G.I. Jane was a seriously badass story about female empowerment. Okay, it wasn't a great movie, but the conceit of the film was that Demi Moore was told by everyone that she couldn't do something, and she couldn't be a ranger, she couldn't be a Navy SEAL. And that's what the movie was about. It was about overcoming. I mean, I don't understand what the absolute horrific thing is that Chris Rock supposedly said in that joke that elicited the response that we saw from Will Smith. I just don't get it. And, the other thing that I thought of, which is terrible. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. There's an old Chris Rock joke about how, I couldn't, at first I couldn't do the joke justice. Second, there are words in the joke that I wouldn't dare speak. And thirdly, you don't need me, a middle-aged fat white guy, to be reminding you of a joke that Chris Rock once had. But it is about things getting effed up. When certain things are going good, they then all of a sudden get effed up. And I was reminded of that joke and I'm like, isn't that interesting? I also think that Chris held back. I also think that there is some, I'm hearing a lot of, I've seen a lot of people say, oh man, if Chris Rock had just opened up on him after that, there is no way that Will Smith could verbally spar with Chris Rock. But I think that, he composed himself to the best that he could. I think that he was absolutely shocked by the moment. I think his head was swimming with, okay, what just happened? Was that a joke? Is that serious? What's going to happen now? Where is it? But let's not get it confused. Chris Rock, if Chris Rock had just said, oh yeah, and then Chris Rock would have just opened up with that Chris Rock comedy mind on Will Smith and Jada, it could have got ugly. It could have got ugly. But he held back. He didn't. And what would have happened if Chris Rock had gone down? What if Chris Rock didn't take that pussy slap? Because honestly, apparently that's what it was. Apparently, Chris Rock is a very small man. He's a tiny little guy. Will Smith is a big guy with long arms, long reach. And he squared up and he just got him right there with a short, boom, jab slap right across the cheek. What if Chris Rock goes down? What if Chris Rock goes down, and what if Chris Rock bangs his head on the stage? What if anything happens? What happens then? Does the Academy still allow Will Smith to sit there and wait to be given one of the highest honors of the night, the prize for Best Actor? I mean, there's a lot of things that could have, but he didn't go down. He just stood there and he took it. And did Will Smith receive any special treatment here? Was it because he's Will Smith and Will Smith can do anything? Is it because Will Smith is one of the most important people in Hollywood that he wasn't removed? What if that was Anthony Anderson? What if the star of Blackish was there? His wife was, Tracy Ross Ellis was there. What if Anthony Anderson was there? And what if it was Anthony Anderson who charged the stage and slapped a presenter, attacked, assaulted a presenter at the award show? Is that different? What if it was Kanye? I mean, is that different? Do security come out of the wings, and is there a wrestling match on stage, and is the guy being led away in handcuffs and booked into a jail cell for the night? Or is it just like Will Smith? They get to go back to their seats, calm down, and get, bitch talked by Denzel Washington and Bradley Cooper about how it's okay, man, it's okay. Two guys who I completely lost respect for, Bradley Cooper and Denzel Washington. Really? You're talking him down like it's all right, like everything's fine. You're going to calm him down. Somebody get that dude out of the room. And I'm talking about Will Smith. Demi Moore is trending today. Demi Moore wants to be left out of it, and she's trending today. Demi Moore is the real victim here. That movie was a passion project of hers, and it has just been shit on at the Academy Awards in a clip that is probably going to be the #1 viral clip of all time. So, obviously, my feelings on it are that Will Smith is an idiot. Will Smith obviously was either being overly performative in order to placate his wife, who seems like, I imagine that Jada Pinkett Smith is also one of these people, that would preach about non-violence is never the answer, except in this situation because it affected her and she's happy that her husband did this for her. Honor. There was no honor that was besmirched. It was a joke. I do believe this, though, and I'm going to make this prediction right now. You people watch. At next year's Academy Awards, Will Smith and Chris Rock are going to present together. Watch it. You write it down right now. They will. This is too big a thing for next year's Oscars to just overlook. I mean, if you think, oh, they'll never talk again. Oh, they'll never this, they'll never that. They'll never be in the same room. It'll be a weird Hollywood thing now where Will Smith will never go to anything. No, that's not what's going to happen. If people get into fights, Will Smith overreacted. I'm hoping that on some level, at some point in the very near future, there's going to be a phone call or something, and Will Smith is going to apologize. We have not heard Chris Rock's response to this yet because, he's probably saving it up. He probably knows that whatever his response is going to be very big. It's going to be covered. So he's, biding his time, seeing how this plays out. But mark my words, next year at the Academy Awards, Chris Rock and Will Smith will appear together on stage. Whether it's to present an award or whether it's to do some silly little bit because Will Smith won the Best Actor award last night. That means that Will Smith next year will present the Best Actress award. The winner of the Best Actor always the following year presents the Best Actress. So maybe that'll be Chris Rock and Will Smith. And they'll do some stupid joke about it and Chris Rock will feign like, oh, you're gonna... But yeah, but that's what we're going to see. So we're going to see one year from now. I think this much of Will Smith now. I think this much of him. I just think what an idiot. What a complete moron. Glad he did it. Don't get me wrong. It was one of the most fascinating things that I had ever seen on television. I can't say that I saw it on live television because, like I said, I was watching a Formula One series with my 12-year-old. And honestly, those memories will probably outpace these memories any day. So, but I did see it. I did go back, and when I was watching it, I was like, and by the way, I didn't have any knowledge that it was coming. When I watched it on tape delay, because I had avoided Twitter, I had avoided everything. I was basically blacked out on all that stuff. So when I watched it, I was like, what the hell did I just see? All right. So Will Smith, Chris Rock, Oscars, all of that stuff, that's trending. Diddy is also trending. Diddy is trending because, oh no. Here, let me make sure I can do this. I'll try. Diddy got up and he said that he was going to broker a peace. If you remember that, Sean Combs, he came up after. Let me make sure I get that. There we go. Okay. Here, I've got this for you. Boom, 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 boom. Apparently, according to P. Diddy, they made up already. But, P. Diddy isn't exactly the best. Diddy claims Will Smith and Chris Rock settled feud after Oscar slap. They're brothers. Diddy told Page Six that Will Smith and Chris Rock settled their feud after an altercation at the 94th Annual Academy Awards. Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith's bald head while presenting the documentary feature category. By the way, how terrible for the winners of the documentary. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave one crap about whoever won that next category. It was just like, wait, everybody in the place was staring at Will Smith. Everybody at the place was checking their phones. They were reading Twitter. They were trying to figure out if it was real or not. Diddy said, it's not a problem. Diddy told Page Six, referencing Smith and Rock's feud. That's over. I can confirm that. It's all love. They're brothers. Diddy was the presenter who appeared on the Oscars telecast right after the altercation between Smith and Rock. Diddy took to the stage to introduce the Oscars celebration of the 50th anniversary of The Godfather and address the situation that had just played out. Will and Chris, this is Diddy now. Will and Chris, we're going to solve this like family, Diddy said on stage. Right now, we're moving on with love. Everybody make some noise. Oh, jeez. I can see why someone, an entrepreneur, a leading force in American popular culture for the last 20 years, P. Diddy, might see a problem with what went down here. Because the other thing that I thought about this whole situation that really pissed me off last night? I have a lot of cretins that I follow on Twitter just because I like to keep track of them. A lot of these AM talk radio hosts who, offer their dog whistle hot takes and all this kind of stuff. I saw that and I thought, oh, so now we're going to get today, I'm like, we're going to get every AM talk radio, right-wing, borderline fascist, undeniably racist, bigoted talk show host, openly being allowed to discuss how the black man is just naturally violent. We're going to see this on Fox tonight. Can't wait to hear Tucker. Oh, Tucker's going to have something about that. That somebody on Fox News is going to offer the opinion that, well, the black man is just inherently violent when it comes to these kinds of things. It's going to give them, I'm not going to say that it's appropriate, but it is going to give them a topical thing to allow the dog whistles to be blown. We're going to hear a lot of that. And I think that maybe on some level, Diddy may have seen that. That's why he's like, calm down. They're good. It's over. This isn't a thing. We can handle this. But here now is, let's see, do we have this? Can we show it? Oh, no, now it's missing. It is missing. They've taken it down from Twitter. That sucks. All right. Well, I was going to show you a video of the after party that Will Smith attended, and it's been taken down. It is no longer up there. And I thought, wow, that's weird that that's up there. How did that get up there? Because you would think at these private after parties, people get their phones confiscated and all that and anybody that was near Will Smith after what had happened earlier in the evening would probably, not someone that they want with their phone out recording it. But it was Will Smith hours after, clutching his Oscar on a dance floor at a party, lip syncing to a medley of his own songs, celebrating, partying, hugging, laughing, enjoying the night. So, the incident, it didn't, anyone that was worried that Will Smith's big Oscar win was going to be spoiled by, I don't know, maybe his embarrassment at the way he behaved. No, he was fine. He was having fun with it. And that video is gone now. That's unfortunate. I thought it was up. I wanted to show that to you, but I can't show it to you now. But fear not, Diddy, whether true or not, says they made up and it's fine. Nothing to see here. Move along. If Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson asks, if Michael Savage asks, they're fine. Everything's good. They're not violent. Just a ridiculous set of circumstances. Howard Stern, he checked in on it. Should we hear what Howard Stern had to say? Oh, now we can't do this either, can we? God, I'm sorry. Like I said, everything that I wanted to play now has to be... hold on, we can do this. Howard Stern this morning had some comments. Let's hear what he had to say. He's trending as well. By the way, the show's not going to just be all this stuff. I just wanted to run through the stuff at the top here because, there are other big things that are going on in the world today. All right, so here we go. So this is Howard Stern talking about
Now,
it.
the first thing I said to my in hand with a lot of force smacks him right in the mouth on TV. Now, the first thing I said to myself is, what the fuck is going on? Is this a bit? Because where's security? This is a live television event. Not one person came out because he's Will Smith. This is how Trump gets away with shit. Will Smith and Trump are the same guy. He decided he's going to take matters into his own hands. You know, at a time when the world is at war, bad timing, man. I mean, just, calm your fucking ass down.
It shows where we are as human beings. Like, you can't even say something in a room without a war breaking out.
Yeah. So he gets up and smacks Will Smith smacks Chris Rock. And Chris Rock, Jesus, the guy's so fast comedy-wise. He actually recovered and made a joke and said, gee, best Oscars yet. He was able to comment outside of what just happened to him. And then he got flustered. If you've seen the uncensored stuff, and he basically couldn't even get out, here's the best documentary. He said, now let's give a documentary for the Academy Award. He was flustered.
Yeah,
he was obviously his
flustered.
head, he got fucked over.
All right, so there you have it. That's why Howard Stern is trending, because Howard Stern compared Will Smith to Donald Trump, which, okay, Howard, I don't know about that. All right, now in general, and like I said, I've got a couple of things we'll talk about at the end of the show, the things that would probably have been remembered if the slap hadn't occurred. But the Oscars themselves, there were some winners, so let's talk about that. The Best Actor went to Will Smith, which, had everything been normal after I fast forwarded through the series last night, through the Oscars last night, I had every intention of watching King Richard. I hadn't seen it yet. And I was like, maybe I want to see this. So maybe I should check this out. And this was before I knew anything, before I knew that he had won, before anything, but it was on my list and I just didn't get to it before the Oscars. But I was like, I had every intention of seeing King Richard. I'm not going to watch it now. I'm not going to watch it. I don't give a shit. You know what? I'm so just completely done with Will Smith and that whole contrived performative bullshit against little 5'5" Chris Rock. I don't give a shit about him anymore. I really don't. But he won, and then he got up and he apologized to everybody except Chris Rock because, Will Smith is a fucking weirdo. He's just a weird guy. Just that you couldn't have looked into the camera and said, you know what, my actions there, I'm not proud of them, but you have to understand I played this role. He tried to excuse the behavior because he's such a deep method actor that he had just been in this role of Richard Williams, the father of the Williams sister, and he had just been so drilled into the protection of his family. No, you were drilled into pretending to protect a family. You're not really Richard Williams. Your daughters are not really a 10-year-old Serena and an 8-year-old or whatever it is, Venus and Serena. They're not little girls. That's not really your life, Will. See, Richard Williams really probably had to fight a whole lot of bias and a whole lot of awful shit because they were poor black people trying to break into the tennis tour. That's something that he really went through, and it's something that you pretended to go through. In your real life, you have security. In your real life, ain't nobody taking shots at your family. Wait a second, Chris Rock, that wasn't a shot. That wasn't a real shot. And if that is the worst possible thing that could occur to your family, you're a fool, Will Smith. He got up there and he's apologizing I just want to apologize to the Academy and I hope they have me back. Well, I hope they don't. I really do. I mean, I know I predicted that next year he'll be back with Chris Rock, and that's fine. But this happens to anybody else in their band for life. This happens to any other star that doesn't have like $1 billion in box office earnings over a career, and they are never showing up again. They're never being invited again. So you know what? You won, Will Smith, but also in my book, you lost. I could give a shit. I could honestly give a shit that you're now an Oscar winner. Ugh. How about Best Actress, though? My girl, Jessica Chastain for Tammy Faye. You didn't call it. You were about to say you called it. No, I know. I said I wanted her to win. And I said that I thought that she should win. And she did. And I'm so happy I mean, just the imbalance between the moronic barbarism of Will Smith and the just elegant sophistication of Jessica Chastain. It's just so great. Love me some Jessica Chastain. And I'm telling you, if you have not seen The Eyes of Tammy Faye, she is so good in it. And I thought that Nicole Kidman was great as Lucy. I did. I thought she was terrific. But Jessica Chastain was far better as Tammy Faye Baker than Nicole Kidman was as Lucy. So, God, that was a real highlight for me. I just loved Jessica Chastain. I think she's the best. We did a Jessica Chastain draft the other day, don't you know? That's how much I like Jessica Chastain. Best Supporting Actor, that was a great moment. That went to Troy Kotsur from the movie Coda. Hadn't seen Coda. Hadn't heard a lot about Coda. The little that I did hear about Coda was people talking about how great it was. But I honestly, I have this bit of a bias when it comes to movies, especially movies that are nominated for awards. Like, I knew it was about a handicapped guy who was deaf. And I just thought, that's just Oscar bullshit. That's, this movie's probably boring. It's probably just a whole bunch of sign language, just Oscars trying to show how evolved they are, that they could recognize that people with challenges can actually be. But this guy got up and he did his little acceptance speech, the deaf actor, Troy Kotsur. I'm a puddle, man. I'm like, okay, I'm going to see this movie now. Okay. I thought he was so wonderful. I thought this guy, I'm like, oh God, you won. I don't know. I don't know how many roles you're going to get now because, unfortunately, you do have this affliction, and I don't know how that works its way into films. You'll probably get some work. You'll probably be, Marley Matlin got work. Marley Matlin was in this movie. But at any rate, what a feel good that one was. Even though I wanted Grandpa from Belfast to win, Kieran Hins, I wanted him to win, because I just loved him in that role as Grandpa in Belfast. And I hadn't seen this Coda, and I didn't know who Troy Kotsur was, but my God, how great was he? I thought that was awesome. Best Supporting Actress, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story. I will not see West Side Story. It's a musical. I have no interest in watching that. I've never seen the original West Side Story. I know the songs because I'm clued into pop culture, but I have no interest in seeing that. She seemed like a wonderful young lady. That's the most I'll say. I look forward to whatever else she does. She apparently has talent. She has an Oscar. So, I will see the next film she does if it's something that appeals to me. Jane Campion won for Power of the Dog. Again, I saw Power of the Dog. I also saw Paul Thomas Anderson's Licorice Pizza, and there is no contest as to who the better director was, who made the more interesting choices. Paul Thomas Anderson is a brilliant, innovative, interesting, creative director, and Jane Campion made a Western. But, she's a woman, and, it's empowering, and I guess, so, people voted. I think that a lot of people voted for her because she was a female director. I can't imagine. She's not as good a director as Paul Thomas Anderson. She's just not. I'm sorry. She's probably not as good a director as Kenneth Branagh. But, whatever. She was fine. She won her award. That's great. I think Paul Thomas Anderson has a bunch of them. I think he won a bunch for Magnolia, maybe something else. Whatever. If he hasn't, I'll look it up. That's a crime. We better get ready for the Academy to start rewarding these great auteurs of our era, because Paul Thomas Anderson is terrific. But God bless you, Jane Campion. She won Best Director. We did actor, actress. We did supporting actor, supporting actress. We did director. Best adapted screenplay went for Coda. Very good for them. That movie actually won a bunch. Best original screenplay went for Belfast. I loved that movie. I loved the movie Belfast. I just thought that movie was so interesting and so well done, and such a great story. About a time in history that, people lived through, and it's how they were forced to exist. Very good movie. If you haven't seen Belfast, it's a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. And I don't like stupid shit, but I really really liked Belfast, so I was glad to see that won for Best Original Screenplay because it is a great story. It's a terrific story, and of course, Best Picture, Coda, the story about. Am I being reductive when I say the Deaf Guy movie? I really don't know what the movie's about. I saw the clips that they showed, and was the deaf guy with financial problems, I guess. I'm going to see it. I'm absolutely 100% going to see Coda now. And I can't say that I'm looking forward to, I'm not like, oh, I got to see that tonight. I don't know, but I will one of these nights where I'm like, I need something to watch. I'll put it on and maybe I'll be blown away. Maybe I will be blown away. I hope that I am. Why would you hope that you weren't? No, you're right. I mean, but I'm not like, it's not top of the list of things that I'm going to see, but I will see it because it won for Best Picture. And I just thought that the dude, Troy Kotsur, when he won for Best Supporting Actor was just so likable. I'm like, oh yeah, I root for this guy now. The last time a movie won for Best Picture that I didn't see. I will see if a movie wins for Best Picture. If I hadn't seen it before it won, I'll see it. I'll go. After it wins, I consider myself anchored in the American popular culture, and I like to be able to. I don't like to have all these blind spots where I never saw that movie. So if it wins, and that means that it's a movie that gets elevated to a certain level of appreciation, I'll make sure that I see it, at least so that I know what's happening. Thank God West Side Story didn't win, because that might have been the exception. I might have gone, no. But the last time that I forced myself to watch a movie that won for Best Picture was Parasite. Remember the South Korean movie Parasite that won a couple of years ago? It was awesome. I remember I thought, subtitles. I don't want to watch this. Within the first 15 minutes of it, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. This movie is so good. This movie is awesome. So I will see Coda. I will get around to it. I will see it. You've just got to see Coda. Okay, whatever. Adam Morena says Paul Thomas Anderson has never won an Oscar and has only been nominated 3 times for Best Director. Jane Campion has 5 nominations and 2 wins, so it's a tough sell to say one is better than the other. No, it's not, because you see, it's subjective, Adam. That's what art is. So it's not a tough sell. This is my show. And you cannot qualify art or creativity by any kind of metric, which is what you're attempting to do, which is a sign of a non-creative mind. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Morena, the energy vampire. Okay. I'm sure she's a fine director. I'm sure she's terrific. Just, there was no way, from my point of view, and welcome, Pugs Moran's High Noon, there's no way that Power of the Dog was directed better than Licorice Pizza. That's all there is to it. Chris says, that's the best, man, when you go in with a horrible expectation and a movie just blows your mind. Happened to me with the first Matrix movie, which I had no idea what it was about or watched the trailer for it. Yeah, it is true. That is I'm a big film fan. I love film. I love visual creativity in the form of a story, film, TV, really good stuff. I get really excited about it. It does something. It fires something off in my head. If I get hooked into something like that. Yeah, you're right, Christian. That's a terrific visceral experience when you really have low expectations and you're like, oh yeah. I had that with Belfast. All that I knew that Belfast was about was I knew that it was about the Troubles in Northern Ireland. And, I'm very interested in that storyline. I'm very interested in any depiction of the Troubles. The Troubles was the time in Northern Ireland between the Catholics and the Protestants starting in the late 1960s and probably went all the way up to the Black Friday Accord in 1998. So that time period in Northern Ireland, and in particular in Belfast, is known as the Troubles. It's when there were bombings and there were the IRA versus the British, and it's a very interesting time period. So that's all I went into Belfast with. And then I got hooked on the story. Then the story just sucked me in, and I'm like, oh, I love these people. I love these people. And why do they have to live under such extreme circumstances? Why do bombs explode in the building across the street while the kid is walking, just stuff like that. So yeah, that's a great experience. So that's it. Those are the Oscar winners. Okay, so now let's get into some of the non-Oscar stuff that is trending. This one hit me hard. This hit me like a Will Smith slap to the face. Friday night, me and my kid were screwing around. What were we watching? I think we were probably watching old episodes of Community or something on Netflix, laughing. We love Community. We love to watch that. Oh no, we were watching YouTube. Yeah, we were watching YouTube. No, we weren't watching Predator clips. No, we were watching Major League Baseball's most awesome moments. Me and my kid, people doing inside the park home runs and stuff like that. And we were enjoying it. And all of a sudden my phone goes brr, brr, like at 9:30. And I look at it, and it's my buddy Rob Barr, who's often here in the chat room with us. And it just simply says Taylor Hawkins dead. And I was like, wait, what? Huh? What are you talking about? And then I look, and I don't know why I didn't notice it, but I look at my alerts, and there's a couple alerts on my phone that say Foo Fighters Taylor Hawkins is dead. We did a special show on Friday night. By the way, that's if you subscribe to the channel, you'll know that whenever big breaking news happens, or honestly, it doesn't even have to be big breaking news. It's just breaking news that gets me fired up. If it's something that I'm like fired up about, and typically it will be large stories. But Taylor Hawkins dying, we did a special show on Friday where we talked about what little we knew. We had, oh my God, was that a good show too? The chat room was so much fun on Friday night with the Taylor Hawkins thing. We had people from Europe. We had people from Australia. We had people who didn't know me from Adam who were just jumping in. Oh, no offense, Adam. I didn't mean you. I just meant it in the general way. We had people jumping into the chat room. I'm engaging with all this. It was a really nice experience. And we played a whole bunch of clips of Taylor Hawkins throughout the years. We all talked about how shocked and saddened we were by this. Taylor Hawkins, 50 years old, longtime drummer for the Foo Fighters. One of the truly beloved characters in rock and roll. And when you talk about beloved characters in rock and roll, it's not because, he was a marvelous fuck up. It's not because he was, always embarrassing himself. And it's like, oh, that guy, it's not like a Keith Moon situation where it's like, well, sure, he's drunk and violent and drives cars in the pools and trashes hotel rooms. But no, Taylor Hawkins was just a great guy, just a really sweet guy. He was almost the yin to Dave Grohl's yang. And anybody who knows anything about rock and roll knows that Dave Grohl is like one of the nicest guys in rock and roll, one of just the truly menschiest guys, a cool guy, a fun guy, loves his fans, cares about his fans, isn't one of these affected, stuck-up rock stars who can't be bothered. He shows up at a hotel, in a city where they're touring and the fans are lined up outside the hotel. Guys like Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins would just go out there and hang out with the fans and take pictures and sign autographs. They weren't the ones, going in with the sunglasses and the hat pulled down and I can't be bothered. So when a guy like Taylor Hawkins is taken from the rock and roll landscape, it sucks because there are so many assholes in rock and roll. There are so many people who are just jerk offs, and Taylor and Dave, and I also include like a Bruce Springsteen in there. I mean, these are guys who are just wonderful. They're kind and they're decent and they don't take the fans for granted. If you are ever lucky enough to run across them at a Starbucks or maybe out on a running trail, they will hang out with you. They recognize how important this moment may be for you in your 9 to 5 workaday life, that, oh my God, I'm here in the forest on the running trail and I just ran into Bruce Springsteen. They recognize that and they don't squander this. They don't make it about, well, look, I'm Bob. Hey, nice to meet you too, man. I'm going to keep going. No, the guys like Dave Grohl, Taylor Hawkins, and Bruce, I included Bruce, they're the guys that'll stop and like actually talk to you and like try and have a connection with you because they understand how important that moment is. And that's the kind of guy that Taylor Hawkins was. I got to tell my Taylor Hawkins story that I always tell about when I was working at Q101 in Chicago, and the Foo Fighters were our headlining band for the summer kickoff concert. And the summer kickoff concert was like a slate of like 10 bands, and it started at noon and it went all the way to the Foo Fighters, closing the show at like 9:00 at night. And all these other bands were on the bill. And I remember I told the story. I've told it before. People who know me, because it's one of my favorite stories, but it almost never includes Taylor Hawkins. It's just about me and Minnie Driver. Minnie Driver, who at the time was dating Taylor Hawkins, and she was on tour with the Foo Fighters. And we had set up backstage because it was a Bulls championship run season. So it was like the postseason. And we all had to be at this concert for all day. And most of the people at the radio station were like, there's a Bulls game. I don't know if I can be there for 12 hours. I'm going to disappear for a couple hours in the middle of the show, and I'm going to go to a bar down the street and watch. So we ended up setting up, the radio station set up this, this like living room set with all of these sectional couches and coffee tables and this big, giant widescreen TV that was going to show the Bulls game backstage. And the Foo Fighters were all sports guys. They love sports. And so they were, who were they? I'm trying to think. Maybe were they even playing the Sonics? No, the Sonics were much earlier. The series against the Sonics. This was probably against the Jazz, no, I don't even think it was a finals. I think it was more of like an Eastern Conference semis or something. Anyway, so I hung out with the Foo Fighters all day. We just sat back there on the couch. I was doing stage announcements, so that's just like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Chumbawamba. All right, I'm Pugs from the morning show on Q101. Let's hear it for Wendy and Bill morning show. Ha! All right. And then you put the mic down and you go back and then you spend like the next 45. Ladies and gentlemen, the Goo Goo Dolls. And then the Goo Goo Dolls come out and they play, and then I go backstage and I sit and I watch the Bulls game. And Minnie Driver didn't know anything about basketball. So I guess the rest of the guys in the Foo Fighters were just, tired of dealing with her British stuff. So she sat right next to me on the couch, and I was explaining to her what we were watching, and I was kind of teaching her about NBA basketball, and right on the other side of her was her boyfriend, Taylor. And I told the story on Friday night, and I'd never really gone into this detail because Taylor was never the center of the story. But in this instance, because he had passed away, I went into more detail about that because Minnie Driver was his girlfriend, and I was just some guy that was spending an exorbitant amount of time with his girlfriend, and we're talking and we're laughing. And, some idiots, not that I, even at 27 or 26 years old, not that I could ever have been misconstrued as a threat to Taylor Hawkins. I mean, he was a golden god back then. I mean, he still is. I mean, well, he passed, but you know what I'm saying? Long blonde hair, beautiful, women just loved him. He was a sex symbol in rock and roll circles, certainly in the alternative rock and roll circles. And, so I'm like spending all this time with his girlfriend, and I kept making eye contact with him, and he would smile, and he was like, no, good. You're doing good. Just, we're over. Just keep her busy. I mean, and that was my memory of it. And then when the Foo Fighters ended their show, after we had spent the entire day all just hanging out, and they were coming and going from their dressing room. I don't mean to suggest that we spent, all this time just, one-on-one. It wasn't. It was more just a hang. They'd come back and Dave would be walking around with a guitar. He'd be like tuning it up. What's the score now? But me and Minnie and Taylor and Nate was the other one. We're just, no, wait, was it? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, and then when their show was over and the night was done, they came off the stage and I'm standing there in the wings. And as the Foos walked past me, Taylor Hawkins made specific eye contact with me as the guy who had been keeping his girlfriend busy most of the day, smiled and just gave me a big high five. And it was genuine. It was nice. It was kind. It was like, hey, my man, we're friends now. I never saw him again. You know, he would have never remembered that moment because there was probably some version of me at every stop on that tour. But it made me feel good. It made me feel like, wow, that's pretty cool. I think he likes me. I think that really cool rock star guy actually kind of likes me. So when he died, it was, it was tough. I was very sad. It was like, man, and we all knew that he had years ago gone through a battle with drugs, and he was very public about it. He almost died in the early 2000s. He overdosed and was in a coma for a long period of time. They thought, but he had cleaned himself up. He was married, had a beautiful wife. He had wonderful kids. Teenagers now. And the Foo Fighters are not a drug band, When you think of the Foo Fighters, like if you were like, yeah, we're going to the Foo Fighters after party, you wouldn't expect there to be giant rails of cocaine everywhere. You would expect there'd be some guys smoking weed and there'd be a lot of beer drinking going on. There'd be a lot of, maybe some shots, having a little bit of fun, but nothing like crazy, nothing like insane. There wouldn't be junkies, hanging out everywhere. That's not the Foo Fighters vibe. So it's it's a big shock when we find out now that the cause of death of Taylor Hawkins is probably going to be a drug overdose. It is, we didn't know on Friday night. White powder and hallucinogens were found in Foo Fighters Taylor Hawkins' 5-star hotel room in Bogota after his sudden drug-related death at 50. White powder, similar to cocaine and hallucinogens, were allegedly found in the 5-star Casa Medina hotel room of Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins, who died aged 50. Well-known Colombian journalist Luis Carlos Velez, the Bogota-based director of radio station FM, claimed earlier today that a police officer who entered Hawkins' room had told prosecutors he saw a cocaine-like white powder. Meanwhile, respected Colombian newspaper El Tiempo said in a confidential report, it had been informed about hallucinogens. I'm sorry, this looks like it was written hastily. Hallucinogens, mind-altering drugs that can include LSD, being found inside the hotel room. Velez added, in the room, Colombian authorities found an empty beer can, an open bottle of vodka, a Coca-Cola bottle, and some other articles which are being analyzed by authorities. Witnesses at the hotel say that Taylor Hawkins called the front desk for help due to chest pain before being found dead in his room. One unconfirmed local report said several glasses were found inside the drummer's room, sparking speculation that he had been entertaining guests before his death. Colombia's state prosecution service, in its first official comment on the tragedy, confirmed that as soon as we were made aware of the death of foreign national Taylor Hawkins, the Foo Fighters drummer who was staying at a hotel in North Bogota, a team of prosecutors and investigators was mobilized to deal with urgent matters and support the investigation. Prosecution officials have not yet made any official comment regarding the speculation. Let's see, what else does it say here? Members of the Technical Investigation Corps, CTI, removed the lifeless body of drummer Taylor Hawkins at the Casa Hotel. Wait a second, let me see here. I wanted to show some pictures. There were some pretty powerful pictures of, maybe it's none of our business, honestly, now that I think about it. Maybe it's for the best. Of course, the Foo Fighters canceled the rest of their tour, and they arrived back in Los Angeles on late Saturday night. And there's paparazzi there, and they got all of these really powerful pictures of Dave Grohl and the rest of the band just crying and tearfully embracing with family that were waiting for him at the airport. And then there was a number of pictures taken from Friday, as early as Friday. There is a video that went viral of Taylor Hawkins walking into the hotel in Bogota on Friday afternoon. And there was a big line of people, Taylor, and he walks in, and the video went viral because Taylor didn't go right into the hotel room. He walked over and started doing exactly what we described him as, just talking to the people and, making their day and posing for some selfies. But then there was a little girl who was in like the front row of the line with her dad, and Taylor reached over and picked up the little girl and was carrying her and was like taking pictures with her and doing Taylor fucking Hawking things, just being a sweetheart, just being a nice, smiley, happy guy. So yeah, so that's how the weekend started, and that sucks. If you have any interest in seeing the way we covered it, you can go back and you can find our live breaking Taylor Hawkins coverage. There's all kinds of videos and stuff that we found that night. I feel the question that we had, and I think this is still a very interesting question. A couple of days later, are the Foo Fighters done? No, why would they be done? Well, I'll tell you why they'd be done. Because Taylor Hawkins was Dave Grohl's best friend. They were undeniably like brothers from another. They even looked alike. Like they even have kind of have the same, when they smile, they both they look like they could be brothers. And Dave Grohl Dave Grohl is a 2-time Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. Dave Grohl is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer because of his work with Nirvana, and the Foo Fighters went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. Dave Grohl has been saying that, moving on to other interests, they made a movie. The Foo Fighters guys just made a movie that was released, like some silly horror satire film that they made because they're fun-loving, wonderful guys. So, I couldn't imagine Dave Grohl hiring a new drummer to replace his best friend in the Foo Fighters. I think it's very possible that they say, yeah, that's the end of Foo Fighters. It may not be the end of, Nate, Pat, Dave. It may not be the end of the guys who are but they'll just, I could see them forming a new band. I could see them forming something new, moving on and doing something a little bit different. And that's a shame because, they are, if you ask me, they are one of the greats, one of the great bands. Jeff Glenwright says, what's the over-under on that white powder containing fentanyl? That's interesting. Here's why I don't think. This is why I would be surprised if this turns out to be another cocaine fentanyl death. Jeff, he was in Bogota, Colombia. It is more likely that he just did too much of the most pure cocaine that he has ever seen in his life. The fentanyl is used to cut stepped on cocaine that has been broken up to be sold to a bunch of, you get a kilo of cocaine and maybe that makes X amount of bags. Well, when you start cutting it with fentanyl, you can like quadruple the amount of bags that you can sell. That's not really the case in Bogota. In Bogota, that's where that stuff is. It is plentiful. They get the good stuff. There is no need to stretch it, especially for the high-end clientele, of which you'd figure international rock stars would be high-end clientele. I think that may be it. I think that as a 50-year-old guy who was in seemingly incredible shape, have you ever seen him play the drums? My God, could he play the drums? He gave 100%. It's like me running 10 miles, him just playing one set on the drums. I think that at 50 years old, he may have just done a little too much cocaine. And I think that his heart probably, he complained of chest pains. That's what they said, that he had called down to the desk saying that he was having chest pains. So that's what I think it is. And I don't think, and I could be wrong, Jeff. I think that the fentanyl thing, I don't think that kills you with chest pains. I think you go to sleep. I think the fentanyl puts you out and you die from something else. I don't know, but I could be wrong. Ross says pure shit is better for you, supposedly, i.e. Keith Richards' lifespan. I don't know. I'm not all of that up on cocaine. I've only done it a couple of times. And like I always say, I loved it. I must have had good stuff because I did cocaine like 3 times in my life. Maybe a couple more, but maybe 3 times in my life, all within the same 6-month period. And I remember never doing it again because I went, God, I could see myself just really loving this. And I could see this becoming a problem. So I was just like, yeah, not going to hang out with that dude anymore. Not going to go out with these people anymore. And, I started, then I started hanging out with Emil, and my buddy Aaron kept me straight, and all that stuff. It was when I dabbled with new friends where I started to be like, yeah, no, this is not going to end well. So it was new friends through a girl. A girl got me involved, but she was hot, so hang out with her. Jeff Glenn says, I never had any bad cocaine. I never have either. I mean, I've heard stories about people saying, oh, that's bad shit. I don't know. Maybe I was just lucky. But again, I don't have this wide, bunch of experiences. It's just a couple. And I was like, yeah, I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. I feel like I could tackle the world right now. I can never do this again because this is not real. I know for a fact that I am not this confident. There is no way. And it's one of those drugs where, you can totally see you get on a bender and you can totally see how people die because, when it's gone and then you crash, you're like, we need more. We need more. Where can we get more? And then you're like telling people, call your guy. And it's like 4:45 on a Sunday morning, right? Call your guy. Is he awake? I mean, you can totally see how it's, oh God, what an insidious drug. And it is such an insidious drug because of that very thing, because it makes you feel, it isn't like, I imagine, I've never done like heroin or anything like that, but it isn't like, you just kind of sink and you feel relaxed. No, cocaine makes you want to write a novel. Cocaine makes you want to accomplish shit. Hey, I'm going to go build an in-ground swimming pool in my backyard tonight. Give me another line. That's cocaine makes you do stuff. It makes you productive. It makes you feel like there isn't anything you cannot do, which is exactly why it's got to stop. Because at some point I went, after a couple of run-ins with that crew, I was like, yeah, that's not me. That is just not who I am. I'm a weed guy. What am I doing here? I like weed because it allows me to eat an entire pizza while binge watching, an entire series from the 1980s. That's what I like. That's my speed. I don't want to write a novel. All right, let's see. Let's run through some of the other things that are trending here today. We've got the billionaire taxes trending. This is crazy. Joe Biden has announced that there is going to be a now billionaire minimum income tax on households worth more than $100 million a year. So if your household makes more than $100 million a year, I mean, think about it. This is crazy. If you make more than $100 million a year, you are now going to be jacked up into a much higher tax bracket, I guess what it is. And it's good. I mean, I think that's very good. I think one of the biggest problems that we have in modern American society is the obvious inequality that we have as far as the way wealth is distributed. So yeah, I mean, I do think it's a shame when people who make $100 million a year pay less not less in taxes, but a lower percentage in taxes than a fireman or a school teacher. Yeah, I do. I think that's a little bit bullshit. I think that, that should be, there should be some equity there. There should be some kind of a, however, I will say this. I'm all for this, right? This, let's stick it to the billionaires. I'm living here in the beautiful 1%er compound, but I've got probably a dozen billionaires within a 3-block radius of where I'm residing right now. I still think that billionaires need to pay more. I think that they need to contribute more. I think that we could end so many of these crippling social issues that we have. Don't go into it. Yeah, I'm not going to, but I think it's important. However, if you drive a truck for a living and live in a trailer, be prepared to be told by, for some reason, the people who you get all of your information from, the Fox News people, be prepared to be told that this is awful and unfair. And you, for some reason, even though you only make $75,000 a year, you've got 5 kids and you live in a trailer and you drive a truck and you work harder than anybody should be allowed to work, you are somehow going to be against this. You are somehow going to be convinced by the powers that be, by the people who you willingly choose to listen to, you are going to be told about how it's unfair that someone who makes $100 million a year should pay in the same bracket as, or pay at least as much of a percentage of their income as people who are school teachers or truck drivers. Just like, be prepared. And it's your choice. You're the ones who choose to listen to the AM talk radio people who are talking to the blue collar folks and then fill your heads with all kinds of spoon-fed bullshit from the billionaire class who is funding all of that. That's right. We used to call it voting against your best interests, but now it's an entire thing. It is, what? How dare evil Biden go after the billionaires? Take away my food stamps. Wait a second, you're on food stamps? Wait a second, you're on food stamps and you hate... Wait, I'm confused. All right, so we'll move on. Tesla is trending. Because Tesla has announced that they're going to suspend its Shanghai factory in accordance with the first phase of the city's COVID lockdown. Shanghai is also trending. They're in a COVID lockdown. Also, Elon Musk has COVID again. He's got COVID. This is, he believes, the second or third time that he's had it. He is not showing any terrible symptoms, but he has COVID. Dr. Taylor Swift is trending. Dr. Taylor Swift. That's right. Dr. Taylor Swift. Oh, that's so hot. That's so hot. I mean, she could be as talented. She could be as beautiful. She could have all of this stuff. And now she's going to walk around Dr. Taylor Swift, but it's a bullshit doctor. It's like remember Dr. Bill Cosby. Remember people used to demand that people introduced him at speaking engagements as Dr. Bill because he got an honorary doctorate from was it Temple or whatever school that he used to shill for. Taylor Swift is being awarded an honorary doctorate from NYU, from New York University. Not entirely sure why. NYU actually teaches a course. She didn't go there. She never went there or anything, but they teach a course on Taylor Swift at NYU. And now she's going to be awarded an honorary doctorate. So Dr. Taylor Swift is trending. I love Dr. Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift. And I'm telling you, what if she's awful? What if Taylor Swift is awful? This is like my fear, because I just want Taylor Swift to just be this absolutely wonderful person. I want her to be kind and generous and decent and sweet, and she's beautiful and she's undeniably talented. She's just got all of these things, and I just want her to be the new Dolly Parton, like in 40 years or whatever. I want Taylor Swift to just be this unbelievable. What if she's terrible, though? What if she's terrible? Seems to have a weird thing with dudes, like boyfriends, but whatever. It's just a girl. And guy, my guy. I know that guys can be assholes, so maybe that's all warranted. I don't know, but I do want her to be I do want her to be good. Julia Fox is trending. She was the girl that Kanye just dumped. Remember, she was the one that, first of all, when Kanye was really spinning out like a couple of months ago, saying all kinds of crazy stuff, she was defending him. And now she's not defending him anymore. Now he got dumped. Was it Valentine's Day? There was some weird dumping, some weird timing of the dumping. I think that he dumped Julia Fox on Valentine's Day. And, that's over a month now. We're over a good month from when that all went down. And I think she's now convinced that she ain't getting them back. They ain't getting back together. Because you gotta be good for the first couple of days, couple of weeks, especially if you want to get back into that thing. Because the Kanye lifestyle is something that is woo. Julie, she's gonna be fine, but Kanye, that's a whole different level of like stardom adjacent. She's like adjacent to like mega stardom. So she probably waited a couple of weeks to make sure that things she wasn't going to get back to him, and now she's writing a book. So there you go. She's announced that she's got a book. Julia Fox is going to put a book out, and oh boy, does she have stuff to say. So there you have it. Legal weed is trending. Legal weed. Why is legal weed trending? Well, because the House, oh boy, here we go, at the federal level. Let's see how this House set to vote on marijuana legalization bill. It's just like one step in like a multi-step process, but it's still good. It's better than where we were, say, 10 years ago. House Democrats are set to pass legislation this week to legalize marijuana at the federal level. The bill, authored by House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler and titled the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act, would remove cannabis from the list of federally controlled substances and eliminate criminal penalties associated with the drug. It would also impose a federal tax on marijuana sales to fund programs to help communities negatively impacted by the war on drugs. The bill is set to be taken up by the House Rules Committee on Wednesday and get a vote on the floor by the end of the week. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, Democrat, Maryland, in a Dear Colleague letter, said that the bill would restore justice to communities that have been disproportionately impacted by harsh penalties for possessing even small amounts of marijuana. Ain't that true? There are people still in federal prison for weed. The legislation, which the House passed last Congress, would decriminalize marijuana, expunge the federal arrests and convictions of nonviolent marijuana offenders, prohibit the denial of federal public benefits, and provide resources to support long-term economic recovery efforts for communities. All right, whatever. There's a whole bunch. That doesn't mean that it's going to be legalized at the end of the week. It just means that this is another step. I would have to go to the Senate, and we'd have to see how that all plays out. I'm sure that guys like Ted Cruz, anybody who's got, here's the thing. This could be a big problem for the ultra-conservative right. And I'll tell you why. Because this is a bipartisan issue. It seems the Democrats are the only ones who recognize that there are just as many right-wing MAGA people who are tired of being criminals every time they buy a bag of weed from their, whatever, their dealer or whoever. This is one of them issues that instantly impacts people on both sides of the aisle from coast to coast. The political party that shrouds themselves in this issue first. And by the way, if you look across the board, as far as the Congress people go, there are crap tons of people on the right who are for it and crap ton. They're all for it. It's just they can't believe that they agree on something. So there's all kinds of barriers being thrown up. I'm all like the Marjorie Taylor Greens and stuff. They're for it. They want legalization because they realize that they're regular people constituency, they're like, wait, it's just a thing that everybody does. I'm telling you, I think that's going to be the issue that Beto O'Rourke's going to use to get himself into the state house here in Texas, because I know crap tons of ultra conservative Texans who are pot smokers who really would like, all kidding aside, all that bullshit, they could probably stomach the idea of voting for a Democrat if it means that they can go to a candy shop and buy weed, which is really, it's a crazy experience that I got to enjoy for a very short period of time in Illinois. It is a crazy experience to just walk in and go, I want some of that, and I want some of that, and ooh, look at all the edibles. I don't know. This is an interesting issue. This is an issue that it seems like in this particular instance, this variant of whatever the final law is going to be, these are Democrats that are pushing this one. The Republicans can't oppose it. As a matter of fact, they were smart. They'd get on board with it. They would they would take the wind out of the Democrat sails on this and make it a bipartisan issue where everybody agrees that it's okay. Because I'm telling you, there are far more people. I mean, just look at the polls. Look at the way that people have been, opinion polls and all this stuff. It is like 7 out of 10 people. 7 out of 10 Americans are like, yes, come on, legalize it. My God. Tired of bailing out my son every time he gets pulled over with a joint, whatever. So we'll see. Albert Pujols is trending. Albert Pujols. Oh my God. If you're a baseball fan, how can you not love Albert Pujols? Albert Pujols is reportedly returning to the St. Louis Cardinals, the team where he had his absolute best Hall of Fame seasons. He's going to sign a 1-year deal. I imagine that he's going to, he's got a number of, he's going to play 1 more year and then retire. And then he'll go to the Hall of Fame. But he's got a first ballot Hall of Famer. Albert Pujols has just a couple of little things that he needs to do. He needs to play like a couple more games to set a record for this, and he needs to set a record for that. He's got all kinds of, I mean, he already holds a bunch of records, but he can still play. We saw that last year when he was with the Dodgers. So let him go home, let him retire as a Cardinal. I mean, he's going into the Hall of Fame as a Cardinal. Let's not kid ourselves, and let him just take a couple hundred more at bats, and then we'll see where he stands in all the record books, because he's one of the great players that I've ever seen, one of the great players of my lifetime. Albert Pujols, very happy for him. He's heading back to the Cardinals for one final year. Final Four is set. Let me tell you something. Starting at about 8 p.m. on Friday evening, I became a St. Peter's University superfan. I got on board with the Cinderella of this year's tournament, St. Peter's, at about 8 o'clock on Friday evening. And an hour later, I'm celebrating. I'm excited. I'm like, I can't believe it. I go way back to the 8 o'clock hour with St. Peter's. You bandwagon fans. No, I was really happy for this team, this tiny little university just on the outskirts in Newark, right? I think it's in like a shitty part of Newark, just like 5 miles outside Manhattan, outside of New York City. This little upstart college with their basketball team that made it to the Elite Eight. Oh my God, and then they lost. And then they lost their next game. And it's like, well, that was fun. I'm like, okay, whatever. It was a good ride. Cinderella story. They were terrific. They were so much fun to watch, that team. So God love you, St. Peter's. Can't wait to root for you again. The Final Four is set. Villanova is going to take on Kansas. North Carolina State is going to take on Duke. And this is so weird. This is so weird because, I didn't talk a lot about the tournament because, who cares? But, I mean, I like college basketball. I think it's interesting that 6 weeks ago, a month ago, heading into the tournament, Gonzaga, Arizona, that was it. They were the two. Nobody was on that level with those two. And both those teams are gone. They're gone. And now we are left with Villanova, Kansas, North Carolina, and Duke. And the thing that I find we just can't get rid of Coach K, can we? We cannot get rid of Mike Krzyzewski. This is supposed to be, this is his last, this is his last hurrah. He's retiring. He's done one of the great college basketball coaches in history. And, this Duke team of his, they weren't supposed to be this good. They were supposed to be a Final Four team. They got into the tournament and, maybe they win a game, maybe two, but then that was supposed to be it for them. And now we've got Coach K. He's got 2 games left. He's got 1 game left guaranteed, possibly 2 games left. And in order to get to the championship in order to get to the championship in his final game as a coach ever, which is really cool. Whatever your feelings are on Coach K, it's still a very cool kind of thing that this old guy coach is going out, and it might be in the national championship game in a year that nobody expected this to happen. But he's got to go through North Carolina and Duke. North Carolina, who hates Duke. Duke, who hates North Carolina. What are they separated by? 10 miles? Aren't they right next to each other there in North Carolina? The campuses of Duke University and the campus of North Carolina. And it could be North Carolina who just shits all over Krzyzewski's last game. This idea now that Krzyzewski's he's gonna go out with another title, and it's North Carolina who has the opportunity to just shit all over that. So that's going to be one hell. And I don't really care about Villanova, Kansas, although I'm going Kansas. But I do. I'm picking. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm picking North Carolina and Kansas, with Kansas winning the title. That's me. I think I don't hate Mike Krzyzewski, but I find him kind of irritating. So I'm kind of rooting to see North Carolina take a big shit all over Duke and send Mike packing. I just all right. Roman Abramovich is trending. Roman Abramovich, the Russian oligarch, he is trending because he is showing signs of being poisoned. They think that Roman Abramovich used to own Chelsea, the Premier League. He made all of his money being buddies with Putin, bought a British Premier League team, and he had to give up the Premier League team because of his buddy Putin and his ties to Putin. And then he turned heel on Putin, and he started being all pro-Ukraine, was going to donate the money from the sale of his Chelsea Premier League team to Ukraine causes and all that kind of stuff. And he went to Kyiv, or was it Warsaw? I don't know, whatever it was. He went somewhere in that part of the world to meet with Ukrainian officials. And the big talk was that, he must be on the outs with Putin. And now he's poisoned. And now they believe he's been poisoned. So Putin likes to poison people. So they're starting to say, yeah, Putin must have been really hurt by his buddy Roman Abramovich, sticking up for the Ukrainians, and now suddenly he's got plutonium poisoning or something ridiculous like that. Roman Abramovich suffers symptoms from suspected poisoning. That's the headline. Malia Obama is trending. Malia Obama is 23 years old now, the daughter of Michelle and President Barack Obama. She is trending because she is now in the writer's room of Donald Glover's new Amazon Prime television show. She's, she's a Harvard grad. She wants to be a writer, a film writer, and a television writer. And she has been given a job working for Donald Glover on his new Amazon Prime show. She's in the writer's room, and Donald Glover says that, she brings she's talented. She's a great writer. I love her perspective, but that's really the thing. She brings a truly unique perspective. The series is supposed to be about a very big celebrity, like a Beyonce type. It's about what the day-to-day life is being at that level of celebrity. And he says that Malia Obama, in her writing and in her life experience, brings a truly unique perspective on what it's like to be that famous or that big. And all I can think of is, I'm sure she earned it on merit. I'm sure that Malia Obama got this job. Well, I mean, I guess if you're saying that he made a good point when he said that, we're looking for people who understand what it's like to be in that much of a fishbowl. I guess by that description, she probably did earn it on merit, but come on, She seems like a very nice girl. I don't mean to, but God, of course you're going to hire Obama's daughter. That brings heat. Her coming in, that brings heat. So there you go. Malia Obama. That's why she's trending. Hard Knocks is trending. Hard Knocks, the TV show. The NFL every year they go into preseason and they follow one team. Was it the Cowboys? Was it the Cowboys? How about them? It was the Cowboys last year. And then they do a second Hard Knocks now for HBO Max, which they do in season. So there's two versions of Hard Knocks now. There's preseason. Last year it was the Cowboys, and then in season, the inaugural in season team that they followed was the Indianapolis Colts. Well, Hard Knocks has announced who they're going to be following in the year 2022, and it's the Detroit Lions. Like, what? Fuck. What? Detroit Lions? What a snooze. All right, whatever. Hey, don't shit on the Lions. The Lions have had a very rough go in their history in the NFL. I don't know who the hell's going to tune in to get all of their Detroit Lion fans don't even like the Detroit Lions. I mean, that's just ugh. You got to have a big market team. It's got to be a team with some sizzle. It's got to be a team that has fans, like 4 or 5, 1,000 miles away from the field they play on. That's why you get your Raiders, your Cowboys. That's why you get teams like that. The Rams. You get teams like that people love. Patriots. I don't think they ever did the Patriots, but they've also never done my Bears because of the stupid Hallis family. They're like, oh, that's beneath us. No, well, they have the Bears have been asked twice, to my knowledge. They were asked in season 2, like 20 years ago when it started. They wanted to do the Chicago Bears, and it makes sense because they're a big market team in the center of the country, and they spread out. There's a lot of, and we would never do that. And then they asked them again like a couple of years ago. I think it was the year after they went to the Super Bowl in 2015 or 2016. And the Chicago Bears, my team, the team that I would really be interested in seeing on Hard Knocks. Yeah, apparently they have a policy that they don't do these kinds of things. Oh, piss off. Hate that stuff. Jesus. All right, so there you go. That's Hard Knocks. Okay, and then we're pretty much done. I did want to talk about a couple of things, though, from the Oscars that no one will ever talk about. No one will ever remember because of the incident with Will Smith and Chris Rock. One of them is apparently, did you see in the beginning of the show when was it Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumer were first coming out and they were doing a little sketch or whatever, and then DJ Khaled just jumped on the stage with a microphone and just started talking. Apparently that wasn't scripted. Apparently, I mean, I don't know. I'll have to look at it more, but I remember watching it going, boy, that was awkward. That was weird. Why would they do that? Are they trying to make it seem like here's what I thought when I saw it. I thought, okay, this was intentional and they want it to be Twitter worthy. They want it to seem unintentional. You know what I mean? Like it was like a dupe that the Oscars, who had no idea what was coming with Chris Rock, they wanted something that people would talk about. So the idea that DJ Khaled would just interrupt the show a la, Kanye with, remember when he did that at the Grammys or whatever it was for Taylor Swift? Oh, no, I'm going to let you finish, but Beyonce deserved to win, that whole thing. So I thought that that's what they were doing, and it was real awkward and it was weird, and the 3 girls who were hosting didn't seem to be playing in on it. And then I thought, oh, well, that's manufactured. That's okay. That's why they purposely acted like they didn't know what that was. Apparently that wasn't manufactured. Apparently that may have been real. I still don't know for sure, but no, it doesn't matter because nobody's ever going to talk about it. The other thing that I thought was really interesting, I can't think of her name now. The girl. The trans actor who burst on the scene playing Juno. I don't remember I don't remember the person's name when they were a biological female, and I don't remember the person's name now, but they came out and they're fully transitioned. And, I mean, if you didn't know who that was, you would just be like, oh, look at that little dude. Just looks like a little dude. And that's probably the goal. That's probably what they were. Oh, Elliot. I can't think of the name. Elliot. She was Ellen Page, Elliot Page. That's what. Thank you. Got my old brain. I got to work it through my head. So she seems to be. I had never heard this before. Because I guess we're so used to men transitioning to women, and like Caitlyn Jenner. When we hear Caitlyn Jenner's voice, Elliot Page, obviously, who. If you are used to the former incarnation or whatever, again, being respectful, just working through this new changes and trying to deal with them respectfully, must have taken something for the voice, because did you notice the voice? The voice that Elliot Page has is nothing like the voice that Ellen Page has, but it's also not like a man's voice. It's like, what are you talking about? You don't have a man's voice. I know, like I'm the one that should be talking about this, right? But I thought it was so fascinating. I thought it was because look what I did. He spoke, and I was taken aback. I was like, what? That's odd. So I guess that when the trans process goes from female to a male, which isn't something that I really think. I mean, I'm used to it being the other way. I think the other way is more common, at least, out there. I mean, sure, we have like Chaz Bono, right? That's one. But anyway, I thought that was striking. That was very interesting. I was like, oh, wow. Okay, so I guess you can. And what is she taking to make her voice deeper? Because I would have, if I'd known that was a thing, I'd have been on those for the last 20 years. Well, I've got this crazy girly voice here. I have the voice of like a 25-year-old girl who smokes 5 packs of cigarettes a day. That's what my voice sounds like now. That's what my voice has always sounded like. If I had known that there was some like Elliot Page drug out there that I could take, that would make it sound like a little bit. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. Good. Hey, good for her. I'll tell you what my problem is. You want to know what my problem is? My problem with Elliot Page, and this has nothing to do with the transition thing. My problem with Elliot Page is that I love the show Umbrella Academy. And there used to be an actress who played a key role on Umbrella Academy named Ellen Page. She played Vanya, who was my favorite character in Umbrella Academy. And I don't know what happens to Vanya now. What does Vanya? Is Vanya no? How does Elliot Page, who I hope he has a wonderful and fulfilling life in movies or whatever it is that he chooses to do, but I'm still stuck on Vanya from Umbrella Academy. What's going to happen with that character? Because I am really upset. I loved Vanya, the psychotic violin player with superpowers. So I'm very upset. And then the other thing, they did the in memoriam, but they did it different this time. The in memoriam, where they show you the vacation movie type, clips of all of the people who died. They did it different this year, and I liked how they did it this year. They made it more celebratory. There was like a gospel choir, like you were at a House of Blues Sunday brunch, singing all of these very celebratory songs. And they didn't just, because it used to always be like somebody singing, every breath you take, somebody singing that song that you don't want to be singing that song, but they chose a song and then they just show a bunch of pictures and it's very somber and the applause go and then they go and then some people don't get applause and then other people get long applauses. And that was the way they had done it for like 40 years. That was my entire experience with that side. Well, they do it different now. They had like eulogies, like they brought out, they singled out in last night's show, like the 3 most important, I guess, which is a terrible way to say, look, It's sad that you all died, but these three we're most sad about. The rest of you, sorry, Charles Grodin, but we're really upset that Ivan Reitman died. Sorry, whomever. We're really upset. So what they did was they started out with Tyler Perry coming out and giving a eulogy. Like before they even showed all the pictures. The first one was Tyler Perry came out, he gave a eulogy for Sidney Poitier. Very, very important guy. So there you go. I get that. And then they went into the thing, and the gospel choir came out, and they're singing, "Whoa, moving on," oh, whatever they were singing, and they're showing all of the. They probably didn't sing the Jefferson's name. I was just, and then they're showing all the pictures, and then they get to one guy, and then they stop. They like freeze frame on Ivan Reitman, and then the gospel choir goes into the ooh, ooh, and then Bill Murray walks out. And then Bill Murray does a little spiel on Ivan Reitman. And then the gospel choir goes back, "We're moving on. And then they show like more of these people, right? And then they get to Betty White. And they stop on Betty White. And Jamie Lee Curtis is out there, right? And now it's now Jamie Lee Curtis. I liked how they did it. I thought that was better. I mean, they're certainly showing favoritism to a couple of the bigger people who died over the year. And that must be an interesting meeting, right? Where they sit around and they determine who actually makes the cut. Like what three? Like I want to know, because it couldn't have just been three. Like they didn't just go, all right, so obviously Sidney Poitier, Betty White, and Ivan Reitman are the three most important. I want to know what that meeting was like. Like who else was on the list that got axed? And what was the reason that you went with Ivan Reitman over whoever else was on the list. So that was good. I thought that was good. I thought the show in general was a pretty good show. Now, granted, I didn't have to sit there for 3.5 hours watching it on live TV. I skipped through all the nonsense. I skipped through nothing, singing, film editing, special effects, short subject, foreign documentary, all of that garbage. I was just like skipping. And I was just getting to the stuff that I wanted to see. Now, my absolute favorite moment of the Oscars. I don't know if this was a coincidence. I don't know if it just accidental. I don't know if it was planned this way. Oh, if it was planned this way, just slow clap. Chef's kiss. There was a moment that I'm telling you, if it hadn't been overshadowed by Will Smith and Chris Rock. So now coming to the stage, they like introduce these two people to come out. Now coming to the stage, last year's Oscar winner, Daniel Kaluuya, and 2000 and something Oscar winner for Best Song, Her. Okay, these two black artists, right? These two black Academy Award winners come out and they're walking out onto the stage to do their thing. And the band cracks up. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. I bless the rains down in Africa. And like these two, they're walking out and they look at each other like, wait, what? What the hell is going on? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome two black people. I bless the rains down. The look on their face, they give each other a look like, what the hell? This seems, and I don't know if it was random. I don't know if it was just that was the next song that was up, but it was hysterical to me in the moment. I thought it was so funny. That's racist. How? How is that racist? Please explain to me how that's right. It's funny because they are two black people and black people come from Africa. Well, the black skin tone is most prevalent in Africa. Let's not get into some, genetic global dissection of where these people migrated from. But the point is, that's a fact, and it's not a racist thing, but it is kind of funny because so many people who don't know what is and what isn't racist anymore, they have no idea. They just everything that points out that something is what it is. Hey, that's a black guy. Why would you say that? That's racist. Wait a second, that is a black guy. Yeah, why are you being racist? How is it being racist? Noticing that that's a black. I had an incident this weekend when I was at my friend E. his son's football game. His son E is a big dude, and he's got long, luscious, flowing hair, right? And he's tan because he was just in Hawaii, and he plays offensive line. And I go, look at you. And I called him Dom Tuiasosopo, right? I'm like, look at you, man. You look like you're just off the island. You're like some badass Samoan football player. And he goes, that's kind of racist. I go, no, it's not. It's kind of a compliment. How is that racist? It's only racist if you think there's something wrong with being Samoan, which I certainly do not. I am paying you a compliment because you just played the game of your life, and your cool ass long hair and your tan skin suggest to me that you look like you could be like a offensive lineman at the University of Hawaii. It's not racist. And it's not racist that Daniel Kaluuya and her walked out to the song Africa, but it's funny. It is funny. Yes. All right, there you go. Daniel Kaluuya is African. Cool. Okay. Not racist, but funny. And the way that they looked at each other like, interesting choice. I know that if I was just being thoughtless and leaned back into my programming, I would be offended by this. But it's not really anything to be offended by because I am from Africa. So there you go. It makes sense. Playing Toto's Africa when someone from Africa walks out is racist. How? Explain to me how. Explain to me how that puts down that race. Because that's what being racist is. It's the idea that one race is superior to the other. And that's done through mocking. It's done through degradation. It's done through all different forms of belittlement. So explain to me how he's from Africa. They're playing Toto's song Africa. Now, it might be ham-fisted. It might be a little bit too on the nose, right? There's not much subtlety or nuance with that. But how is it racist? How is that saying white people are better than people from Africa? That's a great song. And it was a very funny moment. And it was just a very let's talk about how they chose this song. It's wonderful. JBM says the music was strange. It seems like there was a theme of 80s tunes, but I didn't understand why they played certain songs at the time they did. They play Earth, Wind, and Fire song when Dune won. Okay, all right. It's racist because it's reductive to their skin tone? No, it's not. It's not reductive. And that doesn't make it racist. Oh my God. Energy Vampire, you're being ignored. All right, why did they play Earth, Wind, and Fire for Dune? I'll tell you, Jennifer Blair Martin, did you see Dune? Because Dune was all about the element of spice. And Earth, Wind, and Fire, I guess, again, it's a little bit ham-fisted. It's there you go. All right. And you know what? Now that you tell me that, JBM, I want to go back and maybe I'll fast forward through the Oscars and I'll listen to the music and I'll try and figure out like what they were thinking, what the themes were. But I am telling you, my absolute favorite moment was ba-dum-bum-bum-ba-dum-bum-bum. And why here? I don't want to get sucked back into the energy vampire, but Daniel Kaluuya is from Africa. He's from Africa. It has nothing to do with his skin color. They weren't making reference to his skin color. They're making reference to the fact that he's an actor from Africa. You who are so in need of a pedestal to preach your superiority from, you want it to be about his skin color. But I don't think you're reading into it. I think that, where's her from? Is she from Africa too? Because if she's an actress from Africa or a singer-songwriter from Africa, let's see where she's from. I mean, I suppose there's still maybe, yeah, let's see here. Because if she's not from Africa, then you could say maybe it is about skin color, or you could also make the argument that, it just wasn't about her at all. It was about Daniel Kaluuya, who is from Africa. Nah, she's from Vallejo, California. There you go. She's not from Africa. Daniel Kaluuya and her. I bless the rains down in Africa. When you get all twisted on things like that, it's racist because it's reductive to their skin color. You really lessen true racism. You really work the last nerve of people who want to be allies by being nitpicky about every little bitch point. That is so ridiculous. You know what would be racist? If they said, nope, we've got too many black people on this cast. We can't have any more black presenters. That's racist, and that should be something you get angry at. Not that they played Toto's Africa when 2 black people walked out. That's just funny. That's just funny. Maybe ill-advised. Might even give you that's in a tad bit poor taste. But, you know, I just found it very amusing. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba. I thought that was my favorite part of the night. I don't know what I would do. Honestly, don't know what I would do without Adam. Adam just spurred me off into a little bit of a rant, and that's what I need. I love Adam. Don't anybody who doesn't understand, don't get it twisted. Adam and I go way back. There's a lot of respect there. Well, maybe not for me. Adam, Jeff, I mean, these are people who used to call the show all the time. And when we saw their calls, we were like, we got to take them. They are so good. They just energized the show. They were just good. So don't anybody else, don't think that because me and Adam are sparring, that means that if you decide to start taking after Adam, that I won't take his side, because I will, because some of us go back. All right, let me see here. There we are. I have got my poetry. All right, guys. Oh my God. So I said that it might be a shorter than normal show. Microaggressions are real. It's silly to not point out every reason why things are wrong. The smallest issue can mean a lot to people. Yeah. And then nobody takes you serious on the big issues. It's called cry wolf syndrome. That's exactly what that is. So you can have your microaggressions, and you can, you can jump on your pedestal and you can point out every little thing that's wrong with people. But I'm telling you, the cumulative effect of that is going to be that nobody is going to give a shit about anything big should you happen to scream the sky is falling for real. So microaggressions, are they real? Yes, they absolutely are. But a continual desire to point them out on every level just means that we become numb to the actual big ones. That's all I'm saying. Keep your eye on the big things, the big problems. Don't beat everyone down on the tiniest things, because when the big ones do come down the track, no one's going to listen to you. They're all just going to be like, all you do is complain about everything. How can that be? All right, here we go. Adam says racism is insidious and should be stamped out in all instances, big and small. I agree with the spirit of the comment. However, in actual practice, you will not be able to stamp them all out at once. So let's do this. Let's work on the big ones first. And then once we have actually achieved something, then we'll start working on the small ones. Can't do them all at once. You're going to lose support. You won't lose support for the cause, but what you personally will do is that you will lose any sense of leadership or any sort of high ground that you ever would hold on this issue, because people will just look at you and go, that dude just complains about everything all the time. Never mind to him. And I'm speaking, generally. I'm not saying you specifically. All right. Come back and join us at 9 o'clock tonight for the Pillow Talk edition with me and Parker. I don't know what we're going to do on the Pillow Talk show tonight. I think we might go into... I think Parker's going to have some hot takes. And Adam is definitely not going to like them. I'm going to predict right now that there's going to be... I don't know. I got a feeling. It's not just my show. It's me and Parker. So if he got something he wants to talk about and go off on, he can do it. Yeah. All right. So join us at 9 o'clock Central Time. Pillow Talk with Pugs and Parker. Well, I don't know what we're going to get into yet. That usually starts to formulate itself over the next couple of hours. But I imagine that we'll talk about the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. And maybe, if we're lucky, there'll be some new news, something new to report.
That is all I need. I don't need no 401.
All right, guys.
I don't have the greed.
What are you doing, dummy?
Down the road I'll travel,
Not you, folks. I'm talking to the
far
dog.
from the comfortless.
I'm not calling you dummy. I'm the only dummy here. And the dog. The dog is the dummy, too. What's the matter, baby? What are you... Oh, you want to come over here? What are you doing? You were good? You were a good girl?
I am on a never-ending quest.
Come here, baby. Come on.
Tomorrow
Say hi to everybody. Come on
is
up.
another day.
Come.
The best is yet to come.
Come here. Oh, my God.
I have
Oh, my
found
God.
my
Oh, my
destiny.
God. Oh, my God.
Baffling to
Hello,
the
sweetie.
sun.
Say hi to everybody.
I can smile a little now. Things are going on. I always had to be on guard. That is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest.
Okay. All right.
On a never-ending quest.
Oh, don't. Stop it.
I am on a never-ending quest.
Okay. You got to go. Bye, everybody. Oh, well. Oh.